I don't know what's going on. My internet is being wild. But hi, yay. I had some plans for today, and so I wasn't going to do a Friday stream, but here we are. I get to do a stream and check out a new game that I purchased. So let me make sure that we're live and we're good. Okay. Are ads done? Okay, so ads are done. I think I'm live. It was messing up. Good morning, Stove. Are we live? Am I live? Like, am I alive? Because I'm really tired today. But we are out here surviving on coffee and deep breaths because it has been a wild week. And so, yeah, it's really nice to have just a little downtime. Gonna play this game. Hopefully it's not too chaotic. But yeah, so yes, you're live. Same here. Oh my god, we survived though. Yay, we survived the week. I mean, I see you and hear you. You see me? That's kind of creepy. That's creepy, Aretha. I'm just kidding. How's everyone though? How are you? Because I feel like I've been doing events this month, and so I haven't had a chance to really like connect with chat. It's always been like events, and so I've missed you all in like this kind of interaction. So that's why I really wanted to like stream, is so that way we can get some time together. Let me update. My game just finished downloading. Maybe that's what made my internet disconnect. I don't know. But I got this really cool game and it's really pretty. Wait until I'm gonna type it in before I tell you what it is. Let me make sure I spell it correctly. Oh, there it is. There's only one follower on this game. It's brand new. It was released like actually like a week ago. So this is literally like a brand new game. Okay, this music is a little loud in my ears. There we go. So, yeah. Why is that loud too? Yeah, that's not gonna work. It's okay. We're gonna open the game. All right. So it should say the game. I don't know how to pronounce that. If anybody knows, Mi'kmaq, please tell me. I have to grab a controller, chat. It's telling me to grab a controller. I don't have a controller. This game needs a controller for best experience. So grab an Xbox controller. Aw, man. Okay. We're gonna go get a controller in a minute. I'm just waiting for the week to be over, to be honest. Oh no. I mean, technically it's kind of over. I mean, we're in Friday, so. All right, let's see. And I'm a little like a mess today, but we're fine. We're out here. Okay, hang on, I don't even know how to pronounce this game. Let's see if it's not too bad without a controller. And if anything, I'll go get one. I'll have to find one. We have one around here somewhere. But if I can play like party animals without a controller, I feel like I can play this game without a controller, right? Fit to screen. We're going. There we go. And we are still raising. We have an event there's the Jeopardy event, the final one for this month on Sunday. So we are still raising for, let's see that way, 1,000 Dreams Fund. So just an FYI, we'll be doing that on Sunday at 4:30 Central Time, 5:30 Eastern Time, all the times. Let me turn this off and let's find this music for the game. Ooh, that's really loud. Wait. I'm not touching anything because I think my PC just... Okay, there we go. We're back. This game is a fantasy adventure that includes fictional depictions of wildlife. No natural something. It's being hidden. I can't read. Okay, natural world. Animal behavior in this game is not. Oh god, it's so loud. I love this. Look, we are all connected. Respect nature and the environment. Only take what you and your family and your community may need. Oh god, this is really loud. We gotta turn it down. Oh, how do I turn it down? Where's the settings? I don't like this. Okay, we're gonna have to bear with me because it's so loud. How can I turn this game down? Is there a way like I don't know what to click to turn it down. Okay. I don't know who the developers are, but we're gonna email them and ask them very politely to add a feature where I can turn down the music. It is way too loud in my ears. Maybe we have to get through this in order to get to the settings, which is really wild though. Oh God. Just turn me down, y'all. I won't talk throughout this right now until we can figure out how to turn it down. I'm gonna turn it down on my headset. Okay, here we go.
Negawul bamutami e maligo. Stahani gauge, pas keska desinka. Meske mi augid nemat. El dugi ni buktuk. Amwen hazul mi so homena hanewari bukwadl. Nana de little sio yet. Wega idasit. Ahalpa mugayidu kantla de gedo. Clubis.
Oh, it's the little people. It's the little people. We were just talking, me and my friend were just talking about that. And I like the graphics. This like little like story mode graphics is really cute. I really wish that there was a volume button, but we're working with it. We'll figure it out. So, yeah, I like that the language too is what you hear.
Dorne basna. Was a web doctor but pass. Chiba adesing kistone mi ajudul de muskik to hegaji. Mi so migwidet kek tante tu jisanke wo tilage. Ahtante si digigina muadis niga gniska mi jinaha. Stahanige ne dugulimk. Tantel ne me jugudimk. Ahtanteli gamk. Na do haglu de muadil dantelit piadis na chigunama. Ahtan winsi telik siktana digalus uti de weni. Ahtani melpenadi liji. Pibani madil do was wegel menuegali na bokona masudi. Geldi eli julaimu di sa wegi gen chicha hamijina hai. Was wek do was wado abokona magun wigula de muchk. Ni nagaluska. Ahkeju danu.
Close gap. Close cop. Crossing the borders between worlds is very dangerous. There are
Ik
evils
dan
lurking in the
mahayu.
spirit world.
Kamut na lukta. Ahal malu.
I like to listen to the language.
Mukchige wa visip badun. Kitna chuka bi step. Kulum na much pagegen we tundo. Keskum na kisia bajazi name. Yuda do wala dun tegen we tundo. Keskum na kisia sawazu spit khamu. When na ukula wingsit. Dan gizi go father the chicken. Nelki ana ran telu. Amul di mat megedo. Neduwe nada neli. Als magro di monige. Karagado yabo on mona. Tli del mulan debas kaman. Nagini mutus mesaji gnamul di gnordi. Keji jignadan boxigi gajo ki wigula de munch. Atandel boxigi bod na di midi go poju wigazi. Apacha de wintante se kisi ko de music. Why say we are not giving out the beginning of this. Karuges menas amuch pagegen udmas in det by mat negen. Sema we je ok jamich. A hespegen udmas in mat negen kewi.
This is so cute. All right, girl.
Wala gluskap as sa manike at kinudo masya abijado tis kun morokon. Wish ko en chickenam?
Okay. Why don't they have a volume control? Am I missing something? Is it hidden? I don't even want to, like, I have it halfway. Let's see. Oh God, that's so loud. Is it loud for y'all? I wonder if there's, I could probably turn it down in my, like, my Elgato, I think it's something. If it's too loud for y'all. Or can y'all, if I turn it down on my headset, do y'all hear it loud? I wonder if I turn down this for y'all. Is that better? Is that loud for y'all? Can you hear me? Your voice and the game are close to the same. The movement between is the loudest. Like, how can I make this work? Let me see. That turned it down some? Okay. It's still loud. Well, I guess I can just turn it lower on my headset. As long as it's lower for y'all and you can hear me over the game. I can do it more. Like, how's that? Does that... Like, you can still hear the game, but it's not overpowering me. I really wanted to play this game, but it sucks that there's not a volume control. All right, look at us. So basically the storyline is we have to find these spirit orbs and we go in between the worlds and we got to figure out what happened. Something like that. Not gonna lie. Maybe I should have paused between the storylines. We got some mushrooms. Jackie! Wait, why did my fart not play? Hang on. Yo, what are we doing with this mushroom? How come it didn't work? That's weird. That's suspicious. Try to fart. Oh God, the mushroom killed me? I'm sad. The mushroom killed me, girl. Can... Try to fart again. I'm trying to, like... figure out this like volume stuff. And now I gotta figure out my alert. Oh, I know why. No. Don't fart yet. Don't fart. I know why. Oh, hang on. It's because I have alerts off. That's why. There we go. I fixed it. Here, I think I can give it. Can I give it back to you? How do I give it back to you? You probably have lots of points though. Report reward redemption. I can report it. Can I report you? Isn't there a way to give back points? There we go. There we go. Now it works. Okay. Oh, here we are. So I got this is the new game that I couldn't pronounce, but you go back to lurk. Thanks for the lurk. Do I sound okay? Is it everything like you can hear the game okay and hear me okay? I hope I don't get beat up by another mushroom. That mushroom was fierce. We punch. Yeah. Look at us. We're warriors. Yo, she's ready. She's ready to fight. Where's that mushroom at? Where'd you go? I'm ready for you. Oh God. Not this mushroom like attacking me and gonna kill me. Oh my God. Oh God. Are these like some like next level shrooms? What the f— Keep fighting enemies, move on. Let me fight them really quick. Make sure I can get the hang— Oh! Come on! I can see how a controller would be better for this in a way. But since I'm a mouse and keyboard, you know, expert. I'm just kidding. We're gonna move on now. Oh, okay. All right, I'm locking in, y'all. Here we go. We got to get the bow and arrow. Open the wheel. Look at this, I'm so good. Oh, I forgot. All of that Nightbot is just gonna blow up every 15 minutes. I forgot that that's still on. Do I just get, like, more arrows? Look at these cute little monsters. What do I do? What am I throwing? Oh, wait. Aim, throw. How do I throw them together? Hi. Okay. Is it, I feel like, is it juke? Ninjuke? Did I feel like I didn't say that correctly. But hello, welcome. Okay. So we aim and then we throw. Oh, I did it. I'm so good. All right. I'm preparing for the Olympics. It is cute. It is like fighting little monsters and mushrooms. Oh, be careful of the mushrooms too, because they be out here. It's on sale right now. Hashtag not an ad or sponsored or anything, but it is by an indigenous game developer, like I think it's a whole studio. And so that's why I picked it up, is to support indigenous game developers. And it's on sale until like April, I think, 1st. For $17. It was just released, like literally like last week or something. So, yeah. Go pick up where's the thing at? I got a magic wheel. And basically you get to go in between spirit worlds too. So that's kind of cool. Oh God. Oh my God, see these mushrooms. Get away from me. No. I forgot what button was. What was the button? Anybody remember? Oh God. Get away from me. Oh God. I forgot what button it was Q, right? Wait, no. Okay. I forgot what the button was. It was... Just gonna stab him. Get over here. Love supporting indigenous, black, and other POC developers. Always a good thing to do. Exactly. Exactly. Like, look at this art. Like, there is not any other... I mean, there's probably other games that have, like, you know, very vibrant colors. But indigenous artwork is so, you know, amazing. And it's not... it's lovely to see it in a game. You know, that's like a whole new level. You can see it as we, you know, like I'm behind me are filled with indigenous artists, but like seeing it in a game, that's so cool. So totally recommend like supporting that. Mushrooms are doing a number on you right now. Listen, I got them. Okay. I'm just better. Where's this game from? I don't know particularly like the tribe. I think it's Mi'kmaq. It's on Steam, obviously. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pronounce it all wrong. So, yeah. Use Guide Spirit to get to the magic region. Go to location. Follow Guide Spirit. Okay, where do I go? Where's the Guide Spirit? This is where a controller would be useful. Okay, listen, Stove. Listen. We're a mouse and keyboard warriors. I don't need no controller. Just kidding. I played Fall Guys, or not Fall Guys. I played Party Animals and still placed.
Se makasi. Hulion ko jäsides.
All right. We got to find the missing caribou petroglyph. Petroglyph? Petroglyph. Mini map. Is... How do I know what the spirit guide is? Is it over here where there's a question mark? How do I get... It looks like you're hurt. You should search the containers for some medicine. Okay, where's the containers? Oh God. I'm skipping. Did I miss the containers? This is what I hate about new games. I gotta learn something fully new. Like the map. Okay, hang on. Let me move my cam. Because the map is kind of confusing. Or maybe I'm just not smart enough to navigate it. So this is the map that we got going on. Okay. I think that's all that you can see. Green Robot Studios. Yes. Okay. Maybe it's in this teepee. You found the gate location. Find the artifact and bring it back here. Okay, I'm trying to find my health. Ooh, can I get in the tree? Whoops. Oh well. I thought you could duck. Oh, we can't go in the teepee. Okay. There's like a question mark over here. But I don't think I can go over there yet. It looks like I gotta beat something over here first. I'm just like going in circles. This is like how I play games, is I just continuously go in circles. Until I figure out. Am I supposed to kill these? Ooh, that's really bright. I don't like that. Is it Q? No. Yeah, there we go. Yo, hello? Stop it. Nope. Oh God. Get away from me. Oh no. Is that like health? I wonder if that was like some health for me. That's how I get it. So I guess we go to the question mark. Oh, looks like we're like the map is clearing out as we go. Don't mind me, I'm just going along. Excuse me. What the? Stop it. Are you gonna attack me? If you attack me, I'll attack you. Oh God, not the mushroom. Why are they all attacking me? Oh gosh, we We gotta find some high ground. Okay, there's... What? Oh gosh. I was attacked by like 5 different creatures. There was no way out of that. Okay. What is this? Oh, we can change our clothes. Ooh, that's cute. Okay, okay. Why am I saving? Okay. All right, we're gonna try this again, and we're gonna try not to die. If you get this game, let me know if you don't die. Let me know what's the secret of not dying. So see, there's the question mark over here. I need like high ground. Can I get up here? Nope. I just want to like be on my own. Please don't bother me. All right, we're good so far. I'm just going to this question mark. I'm hoping it's something. I'm just better. Shit on. Give me that. No! I worked hard for that. Fine, you know what? I'm over it. I don't want it anyways. Okay, you want some too? Let's go then. Let's go. Come on. I ain't scared of you. That's what I thought. I don't think you have a stamina thing, so we are just like full sprinting this. That's good though, because these creatures are really fast. Oh, look at this. This is so cute. Aw. Where's, did anybody look to see where Green Robot Studios is based out of? All right, so we're still headed to... Wait, what is this? Where do I shoot from? Oh. Wait, am I supposed? I'm not supposed to hit the blue ones, right? Where'd that go again? Come back. Show me what I'm supposed to hit. Okay, whatever. Okay, I think this is just... Yeah. We're done with it. I want to go see what this question mark is. I hope I'm supposed to be going this way. Excuse me. Oh God. Looks like, is it Breton, Novia Scotia, right? I'm so bad with names on pronunciation because I am reading it wrong, and I know in my brain like I can hear it, but like I'm not pronouncing it right. Is it what tribe, like is it the a Mi'kmaq, right? Mick. Again, not sponsored, so don't know anything about like a lot of their information. But I may reach out to them and ask them to put in something about their volume control. Because the game is so loud. And there's no way to turn it down. Oh, okay. Okay. Wait. Okay, where do I go? Oh, look at that! Yo, we are stepping up on our clothing. Let's go. It was worth it. Wait, where did it go? Hey, where's my clothes? What do I win? Excuse me. Where's my clothes? Chat, do you see it? I don't... Do I have to go over there and get it? Oh, man. What the... No!
Oh dear, what's someone lost in it, love?
Okay. This is where the controller comes in. How come I can't swim across? What's wrong with me swimming? All right, so how do we hit this? Excuse me. What the? Okay. So how do I hit this without falling then? It keeps pushing me. All right. I didn't think I would have to lock in on jumping on flowers, but come on. Nope, nope. All right, so what's the secret? It kicks me like to that side. So like I'm confused. Maybe I have to hit the other side? Oh my god, come on. I gotta sneeze. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it doesn't matter which side. Am I missing something? There's not another one. This is the one. This is the one that we have to hit. But no matter which part of it, it kicks me to this side. Is this where, like, having a controller is necessary? Because, like, I don't know. Maybe I have to land in the middle? Alright, we're gonna try to land in the middle. Oh god, this is scary. I'm getting frustrated. I'm gonna rage quit over some flowers. What the fuck? Yo, chat, this is not going well. Like, I can't even jump quick enough for it to, like... Oh, no. I think we broke it. I think we broke it. Let's see if... It got mad. I don't know what to do. If that, oh God, no, man. It didn't save that part. And so now we have to go back. Okay. Maybe it's broken. Maybe us resetting will take us back and we'll be able to jump and go get our dress. Not the mushroom. I'm gonna sneeze. Nope. Okay. Excuse me. Nope, I'm not looking behind me. I'm just gonna keep running. No! Okay, that's the wrong way. Wrong way. All right, if this, like, I don't want to rage quit, but like, I may rage quit. Oh. Excuse me. I guess you have unlimited bow or arrows, so that's cool. Did you just spawn out of nowhere? Oh no. Tree. Okay, maybe I need to save over here. I can't remember what button it was, but... This is so far away. Oh, there's some TPs over there. Oh, it did. I mean, it saved. All right. Here we go. We meet again, flowers. Okay. Maybe I gotta land at the top. We did it! Oh my god. I'm so happy. Okay. We got to get to the other one now. Okay, it's over there. Or wait, do we jump to that one? Or that one? Which one's closer? I think it's... I think it's this one. Okay, ready? Nope. I'm not. I'm scared. Okay. When that goes down, I'm ready. We're going to try it. Whew! I feel like I gotta sneeze. Okay, so how do I get to, oh wait, okay. I jump on this rock. We are getting that dress. I'm determined. Which one do I go to now? Can we make it? Do I try it? No! Oh my god! We did it!
Nadja, we'll tap good.
Let's go. Oh my god, all of that work and I gotta drink some water. We have a new outfit. Look at our outfit. Let's go. Where's the... What else do I pick up? Hey, what else do I grab? Nothing? Am I good? Am I good to go now? Oh, I should save it, right? There was some teepees over here. Does that mean like people are over here? I mean, I guess not because there wasn't anybody over there with the other teepees. So I guess the fires you can save at. What's the green dots? Oh my god! I was looking at my map. I'm better. Look at this dude. Got him. No. Oh gosh. I made him mad. El Jefe. Hi. Is that El Jefe with the underscore? The almost front pager one day, I believe. I believe you can fly. I gotta open this door. Hang on. Yes, Angie without the underscore. Oh my god. Oh my god, no, not the mushroom. No. 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 Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait. I thought you were supposed to get like I thought we get like a heal after we kill them. Damn it. Okay. Who can I kill? I'm gonna kill one of these monsters. Damn it. I'm like one tap. Okay. Okay. Got one. That's still not a lot. We can dream. You're gonna get it. Trust. You gotta trust the process. We got some ads coming up. Listen, we have to take baby steps. You know, honestly, like I'm in a way, I'm glad that it has been baby steps for me because the process can be very overwhelming. I feel like if I would have just got everything at one time. So I know that me saying that, I don't know if that even means anything. I don't want to think that I'm better than you or anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, at least preparing mentally and everything for it, I think is a better process than just getting it all at one time, in my opinion. Are you ready for the weekend? I am. I have been, oh God. I think I might have to change games. I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I've been up ever since. Like I tried to go back to sleep and lay down and stuff, but I did not sleep well. Tiny Human woke me up and so I didn't get good sleeps. And so now like I can feel myself crashing. And I think this game has taken way too much like mental power from me. So, I wanted to check it out and it's cool. We did accomplish getting this really cool, look at this dress. Look at my dress. So we got this really cool dress. And there's an ad. Maybe I should like watch a movie or we can watch a show. Since, oh wait, ad break ends. Hang on, we're gonna save this. I can't anymore. Okay, the ad break is finishing. Yeah, I can't anymore. I love it. It's really cool. I just, mentally, I think I'm checked out on that. I thought I could do it, but yeah, 3 a.m. is wild, but you know, it is what it is. And we out here just like pushing forward. Up since 3 a.m. as well, started streaming. Oh God, streaming at 3 a.m. I don't even know what that would be like. But what we can do is take, like, you know, El Jefe is. Let me get to the screen. El Jefe's like the king of just chatting streams, so you know, glad you're here. You know, you get to tell me how to do just chatting streams. Last time we did YouTube videos. Let me see if I can find one. I gotta make sure I don't dox myself though, because I tend to do. I don't dox myself, but I tend to like. I've showed Discord one time, and that was not fun. So let's see. That one video that we watched where it was like, are they Native American? That was kind of funny. That was kind of cool. How do I find a video? Like, I know how to find a video, but like, let's see. What should I watch? Doesn't it tell you like recommendations based on what you watch? Honestly, I'm not like a big YouTuber. Like, I don't watch YouTube videos. So I don't normally know how to navigate YouTube. I wish I could play the game, but I'm just checked out. Like, my brain was just not braining anymore. What's
Hi
this?
friends, how are you today? My name is Bailey Sarian, and today is Monday,
Oh, yeah,
which
here we
means
go.
it's Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday. If you're new here, hi. My name is Bailey Sarian, and on Mondays, I'm out of breath usually, but
Oh, that's her makeup one. I thought that was the podcast. Wait, are you going to be there tonight for the guild thing? No, I have something tonight, so I will not be there. But I will be there in spirit. You said you love watching YouTube. What do you watch on YouTube? Let's see. It's this show. Hang on. Okay, I found the show.
I love you, Zach.
Let me find the video. I gotta find a really good one. I thought it gives you recommendations based on like what you're watching. And I don't see it. Front page slot tonight. Oh my god. Oh my god. Listen. That is actually Monday night. So Monday night chat, we're actually going to be on Velvet Van Helga's channel. Are we back? Type 1 in chat if we're back, please. Oh, that's why, because I'm on YouTube Music. Two? 69? Okay, it was kind of quiet. But yes, you're back. Okay. 9. Oh my god. I'm trying to find something to watch. Where is the videos that you watched? Where's that at on YouTube? I feel like I guess I can't see it. I'm gonna look over here. Okay, hang on. Okay, I figured it out. Kind of. These aren't the ones that I was... Oh, this is it.
There is a centuries-long...
Oh, this one's like 4 months ago? Alright. Let me see if I can do this, though. How can I show this without showing this? I know that's a lot. How did I do this last time? Okay, so this is what I want to do.
Fight against the U.S. government that you probably don't know about. Hollywood portrayals and long-held stereotypes might have taught you that this is how indigenous peoples
Thank you for the
live,
alert.
or even
We're
that
trying to
their
figure out
federal
how to play
government has
this.
something to do with an Indian princess. The truth is, Native American tribes have strong, effective, and unique tribal governments that contend with modern problems. One of the
there we
toughest
go.
modern problems some tribes face today is the fight for federal recognition. The federal government has been sued, marches have been organized, and petitions have been signed over 100,000 times. Why? Because many tribes are being denied this recognition. Federal recognition is a political status where the U.S. government recognizes a native tribe as a sovereign nation, essentially a separate legal entity similar to a
Get
state
shit on.
or country. This government-to-government relationship is rooted in a long history of treaties, legislation, executive orders, and the U.S. Constitution. Recognition refers to how other governments view a nation, not how a nation views itself or how it acts. Neither federal nor state governments grant sovereignty to indigenous peoples. What?
Hang on, while this is playing, I'm gonna like pull up some work stuff too. So we're gonna like co-work / work. Because I don't, even though I want to play games, I don't think my brain can handle games right now. There is like some games that what is it called? The Stream Together is trying to do, but I don't know like how. I guess we could do like the tier list, but again, that requires a lot of braining. Okay. So I'm going to pull, let's see, we're just going to have an educational class today, just like the other day. So we're going to do a little co-working / hanging out. If you want to chill with me and learn something today.
Why does federal recognition matter, and why is it so difficult to attain?
mana name is Tristan Harper, and I'm from McIntosh, Alabama.
The Moa Band of Choctaw Indians received national attention in 2024 when tribal member Tristan Harper became the 5th runner-up on American Idol.
I don't even watch American Idol anymore. I don't even know, like, what number they're on. I didn't even know that this happened.
Harper may have won the hearts of thousands across America, but the Moa Choctaw are one of the many non-federally recognized tribes. So far, they've fought for recognition using all 3 formal routes: petition, litigation, and congressional bill, and have been unsuccessful each time.
We've been here a long time, and now it's time for people to realize that we're here. Just give us the recognition that we deserve. We want the recognition as an Indian tribe. We're Choctaw Indians, and our name is Moa Choctaw.
There are hundreds of non-federally recognized tribes in the U.S. today. Tribal governments have the right to self-govern, which means they're responsible for the health, safety, and welfare of their members like a state or country, and they have the freedom to determine how to do that. This can look different for each tribe. Recognition provides more opportunities for tribal governments to exercise their sovereign rights and access funding for healthcare, childcare, and elder care. It also allows access to grants for education, housing, broadband access, economic development, and more. Access that would have a huge impact on tribal communities. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, or BIA, created a formal recognition process in 1978. Before then, tribes gained federal recognition through treaties, acts of Congress, presidential executive orders, or other federal administrative actions. Since then, less than 50 applications for federal recognition have been approved. If that sounds like a small number, that's because it is. And some non-federally recognized tribes have been seeking recognition for decades.
Recognition or BIA funding would open up a whole new avenue for us. It would be so beneficial for my people to be able to have, instead of a small clinic over there that can do for a few people, is to have a full staff here that can, someone is having a heart attack or they have a place to go. But federal recognition would also open the doors to self-sufficiency, us to be able to compete in other areas that other tribes have access to that we don't, that we're denied. You're not federally recognized, you can't apply for this grant.
But the reality of pursuing that recognition is grueling. Thousands of volunteer hours, years, or even decades of research, thousands of pages of documentation proving your indigenous ancestry, and more money than most tribes have to spare. After 10 years of writing, petitioning, and researching with the help of university professors, the Moa Choctaw sent a letter of intent to the BIA in 1983 and were denied in 1997. The Bureau of Indian Affairs cited this section of the criteria as the problem: must descend from a historical Indian tribe. The BIA required documentation to prove the tribe's existence from as early as possible, which would sometimes date back to 1789 or the first time of sustained contact. After reviewing the documents, oral histories, and research the Moa Choctaw provided, the BIA researchers determined the oral histories could not be supported by primary documentation. The BIA concluded that the 2 core families the tribe claimed to descend from had not been documented as American Indian, and that only 1% of the Moa Choctaw members have documented American Indian ancestry, with this ancestry coming through lines other than the 2 core families. Former Moa Choctaw Chief Wilford Longhair Taylor responded.
That criterion alone is particularly unfair when it's based solely on the records of white men. Applying the single criterion puts an undue burden of proof on a people whose most important genealogical source is oral history. Our history is not written on paper, it's written in stone. The gravestones of our cemeteries from 1814 to 1996 memorializing our history.
We just knew who our people were. You know, we buried them. I can take you to the cemetery where my great-grandfather was born in 1815. And I can take you where they lived, I can take you where they were buried, I can tell you who they married, I can tell you every one of their children, I can tell you their children's children, their children, all the way down to me. So, we know who we are.
Non-recognized tribes are all unique with their own oral histories and genealogy, which makes meeting most of the 7 points of criteria for the federal acknowledgement process extremely challenging. Not only is it difficult to meet the criteria, some completed petitions may take up to 15 years to be processed due to a lack of resources. Critics of the recognition process say it's a complicated, one-size-fits-none approach that boils down the diversity of indigenous peoples across the US to legal fictions and cultural stereotypes about Native Americans. Subjectivity is at the bedrock of the process. And even the Government Accountability Office reported that the basis for BIA's tribal recognition decisions is not always clear.
The issue is trying to prove one's Native identity or your legitimacy. That brings up a lot of really deep-seated racist beliefs, about Native Americans as well, whether that's based on our appearance or how we should act or how we should express our culture, etc. So I think that a lot of those beliefs just then end up fueling the public attitudes towards unrecognized tribes.
One reason the Moa Choctaw have struggled to prove their Choctaw ancestry is because in 1830, the tribe defied the Indian Removal Act and stayed on their ancestral land.
We're still in Alabama, and so we're the stayers. We didn't get removed like other Choctaws got removed and sent west to the Mississippi to Oklahoma. We haven't left. We're still here. We still honor our same traditions as those who were removed to Oklahoma during the Indian Removal Act.
The 1830 Indian Removal Act forcibly displaced around 60,000 Choctaw, Cherokee, Creek, and other Southeast tribes, resulting in what would later be known as the Trail of Tears. Thousands of adults and children died of disease, malnutrition, or exposure during the 1,200-mile journey on foot.
When the treaty was signed, the Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek, some of our leaders signed that treaty. But one thing that it did, it said, Article 14 of that treaty said that we could stay here, not be removed. Everybody thinks that, the Trail of Tears, they got every Indian up and took them to Oklahoma. Well, we know that's not true.
The Moa Choctaw's ancestors hid in the swamps and pine barrens of South Alabama, avoiding detection and documentation for decades until their home was discovered by a timber company looking to take advantage of Alabama's pine forests.
We were a functioning little community here amongst ourselves until exposure came for our people. But we have always maintained our own identity. A lot of people didn't bother to ask. Or we didn't tell them because we didn't trust them.
A second reason is that during the first half of the 1900s, Jim Crow segregation dominated racial relations in the South. And not being black or white, Southeastern Native Americans, like the Moa Choctaw, were left in a racial no man's land. Too afraid of forced removal to self-identify as Indian, but too afraid of Jim Crow laws to identify as black, many who could pass as white did. And census records of Moa Choctaw descendants during this time don't seem to know how to classify them either, listing them as everything from Indian and black to Cajun or white. This discrepancy would later cause issues for the Moa Choctaw during their petition for recognition. But the federal government isn't the only opposition non-federally recognized tribes contend with. Some tribes have contested the recognition of new tribes, questioning the validity of these groups, or expressing concerns that it could reduce federal funding for recognized tribes and increase competition in the gaming industry. In 1979, the Moa Choctaw were the first to be state recognized by the Alabama legislature, which means the state of Alabama has affirmed their identity. They are the Moa Band of Choctaw Indians. The Moa and Moa Choctaw differentiates the tribe geographically from the other Choctaw bands. Their reservation lies south of Washington County and north of Mobile County. State recognition impacts their lives by allowing them to maintain their tribal identity and cultural practices, which allow them to organize and represent themselves as a distinct community, a requirement for the BIA petition process.
To us, sovereignty puts in a position so that we can do things here on our tribal reservation. We can do things, the land that we own right now. We can build houses for our tribal members, that we can do things just like a local township, a municipality.
State recognition gives the tribe access to state-level grants, cultural preservation programs, and some federal funding through the state, but it's significantly less extensive compared to broader federal programs such as healthcare, education, and economic development opportunities that come with federal recognition status.
There are tribes out there that are not federally recognized, that have their own distinct, cohesive community, and they function, and they've been functioning well since first European contact. So we've been dealing with outsiders for a long time. And I just think it's time.
In 2022, Alabama Senator Richard Shelby reintroduced a congressional bill to extend federal recognition to the tribe, but it failed to move past committee review. Still, there may be hope for the future. Since 2015, the BIA only requires documentation of Indian ancestry back to 1900 instead of first contact. The BIA has also proposed a conditional, time-limited opportunity for denied tribes, like the Moa Choctaw, to re-petition for federal recognition with the updated documentation rules. The fight for federal recognition is a little-known or talked-about story, but it's impacting thousands of indigenous peoples in America. 80% of the Moa Choctaw
This was also done like 4 months
live below
ago.
the poverty line today.
Access
Access to federal
show.
grants and the ability to make decisions based on the community's needs would radically change the way their tribal members live. But Native peoples aren't waiting around to be
Hi,
acknowledged.
Two-Spirit.
They assert their inherent sovereignty and right
Or
to
Trickster.
self-governance
I don't know why I
every
said
day,
Two-Spirit. I don't
establishing
know.
governments,
My brain
enforcing
is
tribal
like-
laws, preserving their land and
It's a
cultural
lot today.
practices, taking legal
I'm
action
running
to
on
protect
fumes
their
and
rights,
coffee and
advocating for their
fumes.
interests.
Our tribal members are getting
probably should
educated.
go take a nap,
They're
but
willing to go beyond what people think
I wanted
they
to
can
stream.
do. And with Tristan's
And now I'm
recognition
like,
on American
I played a
Idol
game,
proves that when you put your
and
mind
now I'm just
to
like
do
chilling
something, people
and trying
will
to work on
recognize
stuff.
who
So I'm
you
doing
are
like a
from what you do
co-working
and how
slash
you do it.
learning
It's
stream.
not something that someone
So,
can say, well, you just did
we're-
it
we're
because someone gave it to you. We work
multitasking.
for what we have. And we want people to understand that we're not asking for
I was just gonna say that
handouts.
footage of the march has a
All we
lot
need
of
to
my
do is get
Longhouse
that
crew in
recognition.
there. Oh,
When
nice.
a tribe decides to petition for federal recognition,
That's
they
fine.
know they're signing up for a generation-spanning
I mean,
challenge that could
it's-
end with their tribe becoming a sovereign
They're still
power in the eyes of
educating,
the
you know,
United
doing
States.
this stuff because
But for many,
people need to
it's
know.
not all about an outside government recognizing their sovereignty. It's about acknowledging a people's identity. The indigenous experience today is not an antiquated stereotype. For many, the experience has been steeped in this arduous fight for acknowledgement. All that tribes like the Moa Choctaw ask is that their culture, heritage, and self-governance be appropriately evaluated when the U.S. is reviewing their petition.
I'm a Choctaw Indian. I am a member of the Moa band of Choctaw Indians, but we're not going anywhere. And we're going to be here. We're going to fight until the last breath is in my body, my son, my cousins. We're not going anywhere. We know who we are.
Thanks for watching,
Oh,
and
I
don't
like
forget
that
to subscribe
playground.
to PBS Origins so you don't miss.
The playground's cute. There's another one. Hang on. Let me. I thought it was really good. And it talks about. So, land grant universities. Obviously, that's like. My area is higher education. And talking about land grant universities and how they like are on stolen native land. There's this one
There's a new spot.
that there's this video that talks about that whole thing. So ICIC delegations came up to visit with us. Then we all walked and rode down to DC. Oh, that's cool. Like an advocacy kind of thing. And I'm chill about my name. Oh, okay. Well, no, that was fine. It just threw me off because I just immediately said Two-Spirit, but I like Trickster. Like, I like calling you Trickster. But just like Two-Spirit just kind of like threw me off. I don't know. It's just my preference on you. But yeah. I'm glad. I thank you for being open to all of it. All of the above. People call me like Noelle, and I guess like I get it, like because it's Angie Noelle, but your brain wouldn't want to. I mean, unless you're dyslexic, you would read it flip flop, right? I guess. Okay, that's weird. What's weird?
Spotlight on some universities and whether they should be helping Native American students more than they are now. That follows a new investigation that found some schools have long profited from land essentially taken from Native American tribes and leased to industries like oil and gas.
This is why
Stephanie
This is why I think Native should have free university. And honestly, everybody should have free university, because as a society, like, why wouldn't you want to be, like, educated? But that's a whole other thing, that they don't want us to be educated. But yeah, so as they're trying to literally, like, take apart the Department of Education. But anyways, this was really good on kind of explaining all of that.
Look at the impact of this legacy on Native American students as part of our series, Rethinking College.
19-year-old Alina Sierra long hoped to attend the University of Arizona. Her elders, including her beloved grandfather, told her knowledge was power and an education could never be stolen.
Before he passed away, he made me promise, like, you're going to make it, you're going to, like, continue education.
Hell yeah, you are.
Promise. So ever since then, I just, like, school was always like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to get a degree, I'm going to do it for him.
But soon after she began attending the Tucson-based college, the bills started coming due.
So I ended up getting, like, really nervous, and I started, like, freaking out with how am I going to pay for it.
She had gotten a Pell Grant, and the U of A awarded her an Arizona Native Scholars Grant, which ensures mandatory fees and tuition are covered for the state's Native undergraduate students. Alina is Tohono O'odham. But she says her meal plans weren't covered, nor was transportation or housing. She had an hour-long bus commute to campus and initially struggled to get internet access.
I would say there's just barrier after barrier. I ended up going on academic probation because of everything, like, I was going through, and I couldn't really focus on school, and it was just, like, really hard.
She eventually dropped out. U of A officials did not respond to requests for comment for this story, but Felicia Tagabon Gaskin is a graduate student who runs a program for Native students there. She says the university has not done enough.
Unfortunately, a lot of what we do around representation is performative. I mean, we're great at renaming buildings with Native language, or we provide big events like land acknowledgement football games, for example. But really, when you peel back all of those external layers for publicity, you look at each individual story and you say, well, where is the support for these students? You know, where are they supposed to go?
The layers were peeled back 4 years ago when High Country News published a bombshell investigation about what it called land grab universities. The report laid out that expropriated indigenous land is the foundation of the land-grant university system, and that 10.7 million acres were taken from nearly 250 tribes. The land-grant university system was established under the Morrill Act and signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln. The act enabled states to establish public colleges through the development or sale.
Hang on. Look at all these universities that were on indigenous lands. Like, it's wild.
Of lands granted to them by the federal government. 14 universities continue to generate revenue from lands retained under the Morrill Act. Most of them offer funding for Native American undergraduates, including free tuition, but it may not be enough. The majority of Native students have reported running out of money while attending college.
Where are the Native students, and are they getting supported? Because universities are receiving millions and the billions of dollars in revenue yearly. And how much of that support is given to the Native people, the first peoples of this place, and the peoples that the institutions are benefiting from?
Amanda Tasheen teaches about issues in Indigenous higher education.
People are so trained to think that struggle and competition are required for success, as they aren't a tool to make people suffer and be vulnerable to extortion and have threats of support withdrawal held over those who make it. That's the thing, is, like, I mean, that's the Western mindset, is competition, you know, like individualistic society. But obviously we're about community. And so it's very different, and it just sucks because as a community, how do we get into those? Like, that's why we're underrepresented in a lot of industries, because we don't have access, like our accessibility or the resources to get to some of these, positions. We don't have like that support. And so now even more is, it's at a all-time concern. That's why I advocate for it, because it's a lot, yeah, sorry, I was looking up the details because I wasn't too involved with that, but the turnout was in the thousands. Oh wow, folk came out from Muwakma, Olan. I feel like that's not how you pronounce it. Like that, I've heard of that. In my head, like I've heard of that, and I'm feel like I'm pronouncing it in my head, but it's not coming out. Along to Pine Ridge, then eventually up here, gathering everyone they could, then crossed back down to DC on October 15th. That kind of reminds me of how Native American Heritage Month came about, like how they wanted just recognition for Native American Day. And so they literally, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but he was on horseback and went from wherever and got a bunch of petition signatures and then took it to DC. And that was a whole advocacy movement. It's Ohan, right? Or Olan. Yeah. The other day I was trying to say Anishinaabe, and I feel like I can say it correctly in my head, but when it comes out, it's like gibberish. And I apologize, but I don't know. I feel like I'm butchering it, and I apologize.
At Arizona State University.
Since the Great Recession, Native student enrollment has drastically decreased by 40%. That's 15 years of ongoing decrease of college enrollment of our Native peoples. That scares me.
Washington State University is another land-grant institution. Native students make up a minute percentage of the student population, and Vice Provost Zoe High Eagle Strong is trying to change that.
They need that home away from home when they come to campus. Some call it res away from res, but it's important that they see Native faces, Native faculty, Native staff, and that they have food supports and even just supports for fees and things that they wrestle with. Some students prior had dropped out for a simple $200 fee.
What do you personally feel is owed to Native prospective students at WSU?
Tuition, I think coming to our institution without cost and getting the adequate support for recruitment and retention.
Calls for reparations have recently been renewed with a new analysis by GRIST, revealing that universities that retain their land grant rights are profiting from leasing land for oil and gas extraction, logging, mining, and fracking. Tasheen was one of the investigation's co-authors.
The receipts are just adding up more and more.
Between 2018 and 2022, the lands generated almost $6.7 billion. The University of Arizona received $7.7 million from these leases in 2022 alone. Maria Perazo Rose is a spatial data analyst at GRIST.
So not only were they sort of robbed of that land in the first place, they've also been sort of prevented from having any access to whatever kind of revenue can be generated because they no longer have claim on those lands.
The loss of land means a lack of generational wealth, preventing Native communities from not only thriving but surviving, says Amanda Tasheen.
Isn't all of the United States previously tribal land?
All land of this nation state is tribal nation, but people are not acknowledging that or recognizing that.
I think she's a doctor.
I
don't know why they don't.
Policies continue.
She's a doctor now. I think this
maintain
is maybe
natives
before.
to status quo of being not provided the support and the services that they need for us to.
I've read her work before, but I think she is. I'm pretty sure she's a doctor.
To survive.
The University of Arizona is literally built on the land of Alina Sierra's ancestors, Tohono O'odham land she considers stolen.
They're taken advantage of, and I feel like, especially Natives, they should get like free education no matter what, because it's on their land.
Since the publication of the Grist article, Alina's debt was forgiven by the U of A, and a private donor paid off the remainder of her loans. She is now enrolled at Tohono O'odham Community College, a nearby tribal college that is actually free. She hopes to one day complete.
Who's Dr. Thomas? I feel like I'm going to show my ignorance. Am I supposed to know? Oh, hey, Victor. Okay. Listen, you might take my CDIB card if I tell you that I don't remember that whole movie. But listen, Linda. Listen, Trickster, don't tell anyone. But it's so long ago, and I was also like in survival mode, and so I don't know, like don't hold it against me, okay? It's a lot of trauma, you know? Like, I was just worried about, like, trying to, like, you know, assimilate and survive. I'm just kidding. Riding horseback from state to state in 1914, Red Fox James, a Blackfoot Indian, sought endorsement from 24 states to support a national day recognizing and honoring Native Americans. He presented these endorsements to the White House the following year. At the time, the U.S. government didn't proclaim a national day. However, the state of New York declared the second Saturday in May as American Indian Day. Today I learned. Yes, exactly. And I didn't know that until like I think it was like 3 years ago. I wish I would have saved the presentation via like Twitch, but I gave during one of the non-braid trains that I first participated in. I gave a presentation about Nam, and I learned like that whole history. And like 1914, that's when we started getting recognized for a day. Like, come on. And people are like, why should you have a month or, you know, whatever. It's like, look how hard we fought for for recognition for just a day. Like, come on, you know. It's okay. He's a cute two-spirit doctor who lives in my province. Oh, that's nice. Nice. That's cool. Okay, let's see what else we got here. This one is like current with kind of what's going on with our administration.
Well, Elon Musk's slash and burn approach to downsizing the federal government is showing no signs of slowing down. The latest casualty, Native American education. Haskell Indian Nations University in Lawrence, Kansas, is the oldest federally funded university for Natives in our country. And last month, the Trump administration fired.
I learned the other day that the lady that does my ribbon skirts, she went to Haskell, which I know of other people that went to Haskell, but I didn't know that she went to Haskell. And so it was kind of cool. But this one is a big kicker on like what's currently going on and how, you know, it hurts Indigenous students or in TCUs, tribal college universities.
Nearly a quarter of its entire staff at Haskell. And now the students are fighting back. They're taking Trump to...
I saw that, I can't remember where he visited, but I saw that, like, they had him, I don't know if they had him say it, honestly, but he was visiting some res. That's interesting.
To court, claiming the sudden firings left several courses without instructors and left no maintenance people to deal with power outages. There were overflowing...
I wonder if am I supposed to be in politics? I'm scared to go in that. Am I supposed to have like I feel like just chatting is fine, but I wonder if I'm supposed to be in a certain thing. Let me see. What is this? Civil. But see, I'm not discussing or debate about politics or sensitive social issues, like such as elections, civil integrity, military conflict, and civil rights in a polarizing manner. Like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm providing education. So I don't think I qualify for that. If there is a education, is there? Actually, let me check. Because maybe I don't know. Let me see. Is there an education category? There's like a game called Education. What is that? Okay.
Trash cans and badly discolored water. Joining me now, Ella Bowen, member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa. She's a freshman at Haskell Indian Nations University and one of the students suing the Trump administration. She joins me along with attorney for the nonprofit Native American Rights Fund, Jacqueline De Leon. Glad to have you both. Ella, let's start with you. What are things like at school right now?
I think the overall feeling of the student body here is fear. We're all scared.
Scared about what in particular? Are you scared about what's about to come? Are you scared at the fact that you've lost teachers, even your championship winning basketball coach for a while? I understand coach has been able to come back, but give me details about what's on your heart and what's worrying you and students the most at this moment.
Right now, we have 918 students this spring semester, and that's 918 Indigenous students that are afraid that we won't be able to come back next year. We're afraid that our education is at stake, and we don't know what this means for the future of Indian country, really.
And so, Ella, tell me about the layoffs and how they've impacted you personally. How did your daily life change from an educational aspect?
So personally, my academic advisor, she was laid off. She helped me various times through financial
advisors
circumstances.
are like,
she had mental health workshops going on for students. She
they
had
do a lot,
tutoring.
and I say that from experience.
The whole Student Success Center was put off as 3 out of 4 coaches got.
As someone that you need that support on campus because let's say you are a first generation college student, that is critical. Those support systems are very important to navigate, these systems and prepare you for your career. So not having that because, they're gone with layoffs that's so frustrating and it's so sad.
Laid off. I think it really just affected who I was able to go to on campus for help, whether that be with school, money, or just to talk to, really. It really impacted campus life here.
So your financial aid wasn't even dispersed, is that right?
It was delayed for about a month and a half.
Without financial aid.
I know some students here still haven't got any of their financial aid.
People live off of that.
And that's just terrible.
Yeah. I mean, and Jacqueline, let's talk about what exactly this lawsuit is alleging that the Trump administration did wrong.
Well, the federal government has trust and treaty obligations to provide education
besides your
to Native American
tuition
students. And they also have statutory obligations to provide consultations to tribes prior to any changes, like staff changes. Obviously, that was not done, and the impacts on the students have been severe. And so the Native American Rights Fund, in partnership with tribes and impacted students.
Okay, this layout is just giving me an idea that maybe I get breaking news, we get a little layout and I get breaking news down here and we discuss topics. I didn't think that this was going to go this route, but listen, y'all, I am tired in this capacity as well of having to advocate a lot, but be tired physically because I didn't get good sleep. And so it's given me a little just downtime to hang out with y'all and provide a little bit of education of what's going on that's impacting the Indigenous community. So a little all in one. We did play some games today, but hey, if you're here, I appreciate you. If you're lurking, whatever, I appreciate you. I know that it's not video games, but sometimes when you have this fire going on in the background, it's hard to just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like video games are great to like escape and, you know, have that little downtime to just like chill for a moment. But sometimes it's critical to learn about some of those stuff. And so I can, you know, at least talk about it on what I know and what I know from experience. Because behind the scenes, like actually about a handful of my meetings this week have been about just a lot of things that are going on, you know, a lot of people that I talk to in the way in where they work at, they're being affected by things or they're scared. And so, yeah, video games are a great escape, but also these are impacting real families, real people, like their careers, everything like that. So, if you do have that privilege to sit there where you're like, I don't care, like I just want to play video games, play your games, and you know, kind of think about that. Kind of think about how some people are literally out here like just trying to make it. And so if I can take a couple of hours out of my day and educate you just a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes, I hope that you take that. So shadowed a friend's college job not too long ago as a zero-gen academic trades family Indian that dropped out in grade 6 that places an entirely different universe. Oh, man. That's, yeah. It's a lot. It is fucking crazy to reckon. Yeah, exactly. So, games are nice. Like I said, I love games, but I love my community. And I want to make sure that, like, I always think about what my ancestors might have done, you know. I was talking to my ribbon skirt lady because I just got, actually, let me show you. I'm so excited. I'm going to wear it next week, so I'll post a picture of it next week. But right now, you get behind the scenes. I had this ribbon skirt updated. And so it is like, whoops. There we go. So it's like all the medicine wheel colors. And so I'm super excited. But I was talking to the lady that makes them for me. And she was like, we were discussing how ribbon skirts, you know, people are wearing them in spaces that our ancestors could not wear them. My ancestors could not wear them. And it's coming from somebody that, like, I've been told that, like, my granny used to make, you know, clothes all the time and everything like that. But then kind of didn't do that anymore. And I feel as whenever I wear a ribbon skirt, like, I get to do something that my ancestors didn't get to do. And so the little things that I can do is just, you know, I feel like it's just adding on to what they did. And I can't imagine, you know, what they had to go through. And so for the little things, if I'm not able to play video games for a couple of hours, well, because I'm really tired and so my brain cannot function in that capacity. That one game was really pretty, but it was really overstimulating for like the colors. Like there's a couple of flashes that were like really overstimulating for me right now because I'm really tired. That I can just, you know, do this little educational component to it. And obviously that's what my degrees
suing,
are part of.
The Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Bureau of Indian Education, and the Department of Interior.
Wow. So, Ella, you've already won a partial victory, right? 14 of the 37 fired staff members were supposed to be rehired yesterday, I'm told. Did that happen? And has that improved things at all for you and fellow students?
I know that some professors were hired back. However, it really doesn't cause much improvement around here as we're still missing various residential advisors. We're missing our maintenance crew, counselors, tutorers. I mean, there's still overflowing trash cans. There's low toilet paper on here on campus for students. There's reduced meal portions at the dining hall. There's no options for
This is 2025, y'all. Like,
lately,
wow.
as the dining hall staff have been cut so low.
So, Jacqueline, how confident are you that you can win this lawsuit? I mean, when you listen to what Ella is laying out, I mean, it's not just about education, but just safety and quality of life.
I don't know if I've seen your art.
That's right. We're challenging, the safety and the quality of life, as well as these treaty and trust obligations that have been violated. This has happened at Haskell University. It's also happened at Southwest Indian Polytechnic Institute in New Mexico, and it's happened to BIE, the Bureau of Indian Education, central and regional offices that saw major staffing layoffs. And as a result, really the quality of education at these institutions and throughout the BIE has been severely compromised. We are confident in the obligations of the federal government and our ability to hold them to account.
Well, I know how important Haskell is in particular because I have family members that have graduated from there and are even going there right now.
Aww.
So I know how important this is for the entire Native community. Good. And Ella, I will follow your efforts, and Jacqueline De Leon.
That's how you use a platform.
Thank you both for being with me today.
Thank you.
Use the platform to uplift, the community. Let me make sure. I'm trying to make sure I don't dox myself or anything again. What is this?
It means a lot to me, and
this one was okay. So this one was 21 hours ago, and it's called Free College for Native Students. Let's see.
My people, my community, the Native community, we are still here. We're still fighting for our right to be here.
Riley Aguirre is a freshman at the University of Wisconsin's Madison campus.
Education was used as assimilation.
Is that a twerking? Are you twerking? Are you twerking in my chat? Nice. Wait, do you make emotes? Honestly, for a second, this name, I thought I knew this person, but I don't think I know this person.
To get rid of our culture, our language, our traditions, but now it's used as a way of teaching.
She's an enrolled member of the Oneida Nation and attending the university at no cost to her or her family, using the Wisconsin Tribal Education Promise program. How would your family have paid for college otherwise?
Other scholarships, definitely. Applying for scholarships outside of the school to help me as well, and probably funding through the tribe as well.
The Wisconsin Tribal Education Promise program provides financial support for students who are enrolled in one of the state's 11 federally recognized tribes.
Oh, I was so happy that didn't pop up.
Tribal Relations Director of UW-Madison, says the university wants to make the Madison campus more accessible to Native students.
We worked with tribal leaders from across the state to create the program, and now we're seeing the fruits of those labors.
That is so cute.
We're seeing our first class. We've got nearly 80 students in this first class, and we're hoping it will grow from here.
Tuition, housing, books, and all other school-related fees totaling about $30,000 are covered for undergraduate Native students through the Promise program.
It's not a taxpayer-funded program, and we're pretty proud that people want to support this program.
The program is funded through private donations. Viju says the legal precedent surrounding federally recognized tribes is a specific eligibility requirement for the students applying to the program.
Federally recognized tribes are sovereign nations who determine citizenship, and so that's a political classification. It's not a race or ethnicity.
Schools in nearly all 50 states offer some type of financial assistance for Native students. The program is unique. It includes medical students and law students. Tell me more about that.
We are hearing from people across the country, even in particular, about that law.
I have some emails I gotta respond to.
There's a lot of excitement around the law school.
Joseph Cornelius is Oneida. His father is a UW-Madison Law School graduate who was worried about school loans for his son.
Initially, we were thinking that some of it would probably have to come out of my pockets or his pockets, and the fact that it was like, no worries, now I just have to worry about school, get good grades, and then it's all.
Imagine the amount of stress that stress relief that you feel if you're not worried about how to pay for college. Like, you can strictly focus on academics. But whenever you're trying to juggle that stress of, okay, how am I going to pay for college? How am I going to pay for life? And then how am I going to make sure that, would you really care about your academics if you don't even know if you're going to be able to pay for college? That's people don't understand that. And, it's a lot, college itself is already a lot, going through classes and juggling that. So, yeah, it's wild. She got a blood point beaded earring. Is that part of the picture? Let me see. Can I show this? Oh wait, no. Well, that picture of her is public, but I don't know. Okay. I'm going to show it really quick. Chat, we're going to look at this picture that Trickster did. We're going to have a little art show right now. We have an ad coming up, so. Stay on target. Hello. But that's not the American dream, duh. The struggle is the American dream. Oh my God. They just want to make you into a worker, so they don't care about your mental health. They just want you to be able to work. Oh my God, that just covers my whole screen. Okay, hang on. I gotta make this smaller. We're making it smaller. Look at this, chat. Trickster did this. Look how amazing this is. Oh, okay, the blood. Oh, the blood point from DBD. Oh. Yo, I would commission you to do something like this. This is really cute. Is this part of DBD too, the hat? And we're about to get an ad, by the way, chat. So, I ran out of time for the detail, but I'm gonna work on it more later. Oh, well, it looks really good. Capitalism, brother. Yeah. Gotta get our money. America. That's what it is. I don't get it. I mean, wouldn't you want to have a society that is healthy? And I mean, but then again, we know why. That way, the healthcare system, they gotta make that money and stuff. I'm always confused why we have to our eye doctors and our dentist and our health doctors are all in different spaces, whenever they're all connected. So.
Smooth sailing.
Undergraduate recipients of the Tribal Promise are reserved one wing of dorms inside the Smith.
Oh. Well, we have an ad, so we're going to pause on education time. And we're going to stare at the art some more for 30 seconds. While I finish this email. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's good enough. What other email did I have? There was another email. Who else emailed me? One day, if I have enough money, I'm going to hire an assistant.
At the residence hall. There's also an Indigenous student center close by that hosts tribal student groups like One Chic.
But I'd say the One Chic House and Indigenous program have done a really good job at promoting the diversity here.
Viju says the university wants to do what's right for Wisconsin's Native people, considering the university is on Native land belonging to the Ho-Chunk, also known as the people of the Big Voice.
This is Ho-Chunk ancestral land, and I think there's now some sense of pride in that and wanting to share and celebrate that history. But there's also, with this promise, a chance to give back too.
The University of Wisconsin's Madison campus extends over 900 acres of land, including a 4-mile stretch of shoreline along Lake Mendota. But this land is the ancestral home to the Ho-Chunk Nation, the native people who were living here for over 10,000 years. Through a series of treaties, the Ho-Chunk were forced to cede or give up this land to the state of Wisconsin and the federal government.
The 1837 treaty wasn't a revered treaty at all. These are forced agreements to cede our land, such as that.
It's like whenever people say, "Oh, the natives were beat. That's what we won. We conquered them." No, you went into a treaty. You got into a contract because we knew the lands, and so even though you brought those guns and diseases, you still were not winning. Like we were still coming up with strategic ways to be able to still have attacks back. So that whole argument about how people, we were conquered that doesn't make sense. My coworker crush is slowly falling for me. He was joking about being my manager. Oh, okay, trickster. Oh, shoot. About to go shack up. It's interesting when we use indigenous interchangeably with any native federally recognized peoples in the USA. Yeah, and like, I didn't know much about the word actually until I started grad school a few years ago. I used, obviously, like, tribal nations is what you're gonna choose. I say indigenous just because I am like mini tribes, and so it's easier than to say Chickasaw, Choctaw, Mississippi, Choctaw, Mexican, or the proper terms would be Chakasha, Chantha, and is it Mexica? I can hear it in my head, but it's not coming out correctly. But so it's just easier to say indigenous, and I know it's like, and then I say like Chickasaw, Choctaw, it's like more of the colonizer terms that were given to us. So indigenous for me is just a lot easier. But that's my experience. But native too. I like native, like, cause we're native to these lands. And, so I like that word too. I think all the ADHD baddies need assistants and managers. The world would be served such good stuff if we did. Yeah, I have had to learn. I've had to retrain my brain to really, to like find ways to keep up with all the things that I do. And even the other day, I had to submit grades and I forgot because I didn't put it in my calendar to remind me. So, I had to get up and like, I was about to go to bed and I was like, crap, I gotta go do this. So, I even mess up, my daughter earlier, had, she spilled some of my coffee and, I had to like take a deep breath because it was her impulse. Like she was like trying to help me, but she spilled my coffee and I was like, and she's like, oh no, I'm sorry. And I was like, I know, it's okay. But like, let's just ask me first. And that way I can make sure that you're being safe, like I don't, want you to spill it. I want you to be, careful with things or whatever. So it's a lot. And so I had to tell her, I was like, we all make mistakes or accidents and we got to like, take a deep breath and it'll be okay, but it takes a lot of skills for me to even be at that level too, Indigenous opens the door to everyone. It kind of erases the federal recognition, sovereignty, just an observation I've seen in academia and the larger society. Oh yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying now. Like, using that word kind of connects us to the broader society of indigenous people because there's indigenous people throughout the world. So I see if that's where you're angling it, it like opens it up to that wider conversation. And that's kind of like what we try to tell Twitch because they particularly the CEO like doesn't understand that concept. And even though like different countries may still like call it different, like Canada calls it First Nations, which technically I think that we could call it First Nations as well. But they like First Americans is another term. But like they have First Nations, we have Native American, American Indian, what other terms? Something else. Indigenous creature. So and then you have Mexico too, and like, you know, then you got all the other countries. So it's kind of connecting all of that. This isn't bragging, but I keep getting told my work is amazing, that I should be more successful or paid better for my work. Of course. But the business of my art is not my skill set. I really do need a manager or a patron or something. Please do. Your artwork is like, chat, look at this artwork. Tell Trickster to get that out of their mindset that they are not like valuable. Wait, here we go. Yeah. That this artwork is valuable. This is worthy to be, that people pay for it. Like, I would love, look, you could be behind me. Like, look at this artwork. Like, you could be behind me. I love purchasing artwork, especially for me. I started this wall with a couple. It was mainly like the you can't see it. Hang on. So I started this wall with hang on. Where is it at? Is this the window capture? Yeah. So I started the wall with this one. You can't really see it. Where is it at? With this one, which is it Stephen Paul Judd that did that? I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's his work. It's the one where it's shooting. It's like the game thing where it's shooting the little like the ships, and so it started with that one. And then this one is the Wednesday, let me just, okay, here we go. Y'all are going on a ride. So it started with this one. And that one was the one I originally had. And then this one is another one. And then this one. And then this one. So all of these kind of like progressed into, now we're going down. There we go. Progressed into just like highlighting Indigenous women behind me. And so, yeah, I would love to like put more and just have like this wall of, you know, Indigenous artwork and women and stuff. And so, yeah. Where is the window capture? Whoops. Oh, I lost myself. I think I just need to snag a curator to manage my practice. I don't want to advocate for myself. I just want to make, yeah, I can, like, as an artist, like, I can see you just like having someone to just handle all of that for you. Hey, you know what? I hope you get to that level. You deserve it. Your artwork is really good. The legalities get kind of weird up here. There's the First Nations Indians who are classed under the ban system and governed by the Indian Act, and natural people, blanket Indigenous, for the sovereign nations that never agreed to anything. But as natural person, wait, there's really a trademark for that? You don't get any access to anything, status, benefits, or protections. Oh, interesting. Okay. And Trickster, oh yeah, Indian too. Which I like how we took it back to be like Indian instead of like Indian. And that's something also only Indians call each other Indians. And when you, like a non-native person calls it Indian, that's not technically, like, you should probably ask them what they want to be called. Hi, me, a natural person. Is that really what you can get called? I want to be a natural person. I'm natural today, like, kind of. Like, I try to do some makeup, but again, your girl is a little tired, so we out here, though. We out here, okay? It's been a little weak, so, you know.
Particular treaty, move west of the Mississippi, and relinquish our ownership of our historic homes.
John Greendeer, president of Ho-Chunk Nation, says the final treaty with the government was signed under duress.
We had 8 months to vacate, but then we didn't. And in the coldest parts of the winter, they shipped us in rail cars across to the neutral ground, and we suffered a lot for that.
Ho-Chunk were given $1.5 million for their land, but the government put most of it into interest-bearing trusts, leaving Ho-Chunk next to nothing.
I don't think any representatives of authority could walk away from one of those agreements and say they were the beneficiary of something.
Most of the Wisconsin Native tribes were forcibly moved to reservations, but Ho-Chunk people are spread across the state, with over 7,000 currently enrolled members. Greendeer says the treaties of the past are significant to their sovereignty of the present.
Okay, chat,
The
be
treaties
good.
gave
I'm
way
going
to
the
a
bathroom.
lot and substantiated our abilities to negotiate not only with local
I don't
governments,
know
but
if anything
also
would happen,
later on
but-
with these other little governments that were starting up with the education campuses with the UW.
I think we had some
Ho-Chunk
troll
had already
earlier, but
surrendered this part of their land in an
they got bought,
1832 treaty, paving the way for UW-Madison to be built in 1848. Abraham Lincoln signed the Morrill Act in 1862, selling 1.3 million acres of tribal land in Wisconsin and using the proceeds to create so-called land-grant universities. And so today, the tuition promise extends to Native students across the state, a promise Greendeer calls late but fitting.
I think the Wisconsin Promise is a very old promise that is finally getting kept, at least at the UW level, at least at the college level.
108 years after the last treaty was signed, Robert Powless, an Oneida man, became the first Native to graduate from UW-Madison. Ada Deer, a Menominee Native, was the first woman. For Aguirre, a free university education on Native soil is personal.
Our education is not only for me, but for our community and for the resiliency of my ancestors. We fought so long through so many generations of trauma and abuse and neglect, and being here is like resiliency.
They were forcibly removed, and this university has spent some time coming to accept and share that story. And part of the reason this promise exists is because, there is some recognition that that all happened, but there's also, the need and want to do what's right and good for Native people too.
A heritage marker was erected on UW-Madison's campus to recognize the ancestral home of Ho-Chunk. It's near Bascom Hill, which sits on top an effigy or burial mound built by Native people over 1,000 years ago. A series of 12 Ho-Chunk Circle Clan sculptures are outside the Baki Recreation and Wellbeing Center.
The promise is intended to be forever, right? I mean, Native American students have been around, since the beginning of what is now the United States, but been around since the inception of what is now this country. And I think the goal is to make sure that they're taken care of forever.
Both students are looking to use their education to better their communities.
I kind of want to go into wealth management or some maybe sustainability.
And amplify Native voices.
I do
That's usually
want
why-
to go into some field where
I don't know what it said, but that's usually, I caught the end of that where something about probably students wanting to go to college to benefit their communities. That is a lot of my experience working with Indigenous students. That's literally why they go through all those obstacles, as the main factors is getting out of poverty, which is kind of like a little bit of my story. And then what was I saying? Sorry, I got a text. For that, and then also getting more advanced education to help my community. So, yeah.
I can be an advocate for possibly my tribe or other people, but definitely Native people as a whole, and getting our voices out there to be heard.
Reporting from Madison Ho-Chunk Lands, I'm Erica Aisi for Here and Now and ICT.
Whoops, I'm muted. Hang on.
Yeah, it's A.
So what did y'all learn? Not me over here trying to like have class.
It means a lot to
When you see today our communities struggle.
Oh, this one's this is a year ago.
They cut their hair, they beat them, they would not allow them
Anthony
to speak
Padilla?
their language, and that was the policy of these institutions, is just to kill every essence of natives, right? And literally brainwash these kids like, you are bad, you are evil.
Wow, this is like 30 minutes though. This one's 18 minutes. Oh, this is about food. Y'all want to learn about food? Actually, this is a good segue. So Monday evening, I will be on Velvet Van Helga's channel with a couple more Indigenous Alliance members, and we're talking about Native American foods. So that will be 7 p.m. Hang on, let me finish this text. So what did I say? So let's see. $7 p.m. Central Time. So we're going to talk about Native American foods. Definitely come back and, if you want to check out that event. So here is. Let's learn about some food.
Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Ty. Did you know that indigenous agricultural systems have contributed over 60% of all the food that is consumed around the world today? In the Americas, I'm talking about food such as potatoes, squash, corn, beans, blueberries, wild rice, and even tomatoes. We have cultivated these foods for thousands of years. Imagine what global cuisine would look like without these ingredients. But while the whole world welcomed these ingredients with open arms, the people who had been using them for eons saw their food systems decimated and their populations wiped out through malnutrition and starvation. This resulted in what many are calling a food apartheid, which happens when one population deliberately is not given access to the same quality of foods as other individuals. No, I'm not referring to bagged popcorn and canned beans. I'm talking about access to our traditional foods. For example, fresh produce or wild game and fish. In this episode, we're exploring the historic and present-day role of food and food scarcity in indigenous communities in North America. But before we begin, let's dig in to some facts. This is a People's History of Native America with me, Ty LeClaire. Let's talk about the Three Sisters. No, not those ones. These ones. For thousands of years, many tribes, including some of the Haudenosaunee, would plant corn, squash, and kami beans together. Our ancestors knew that these three crops grew well together. The beans fix the nitrogen, fertilizing the soil for other crops. The corn stalk becomes a trellis for the beans to climb up, while the beans stabilize the corn stalk from high winds. The squash, on the other hand, uses its wide, prickly leaves to stop weeds from growing and animals from nibbling on the beans. I mean, TEK, or traditional ecological knowledge, in action. For us Native Americans, growing or hunting food is part of our relationship with the land around us, a relationship we highly value. And severing that connection takes away not only our ability to self-govern, but also our traditions, health, and even religious beliefs. But today, many Americans are disconnected from the foods they consume. According to a 2017 Michigan State University poll, 48% of Americans rarely or never seek out information about where their food comes from. The ability to decide what crops and foods your community can consume is important to any group of people. But in Indian country, ingredients are a way of life. So when did we, as Native Americans, lose control over our food systems? Well, we didn't lose control at all. It was taken from us, bit by bit over hundreds of years. Take the near extinction of the bison, for example. Although the population of the North American bison was in the tens of millions in the early 19th century, by the end of the same century, it was under 1,000. The reasoning behind this catastrophic extinction of a species was that it was a source of food and other materials for Native American tribes. The logic was, if we kill the buffalo, the natives will starve to death. In the case of the buffalo, the government appears to have committed...
Oh, the buffalo thing, I don't know if anyone's ever had bison, but oh my god, it's so good, right? It's way better meat. But the way that it became almost extinct because it was their way of like taking out the natives to take out their like primarily source of food. Yeah, very interesting rabbit hole. If I don't know how much he's gonna speak on it. I guess we'll find out.
What we would now call ecocide as a way to remove the main source of protein for many native tribes on the continent. As a result, there are many treaties that protect tribal rights to hunt, fish, and forage within or even outside reservation boundaries all across the country. Despite those written documents, treaties like these were rarely enforced. Even tribes that were granted those rights soon found themselves breaking the law since state and federal hunting regulations would eventually override and supersede their treaty promises. For tribes relocated to entirely new locales with different climates, unfamiliar with the new food landscape, the government promised to provide rations to supplement their diet. The federal government called these articles of subsistence, the retro term for commodities. Food supplied by the federal government to halt starvation rather than supplement nutrition. Here to talk more about the history of Native American food systems is Dr. Valerie Bluebird Jernigan. Dr. Jernigan, can you talk about how tribes have had to adapt to new food systems after being forced off their homelands?
It's really important to understand that we became dependent upon these government foods because we did not have the knowledge of these new environments. And we really didn't have the people in those new environments to teach us. Our tribal nation, Choctaw, we were highly reliant on river cane as a way to build our houses, as a way to survive. It's even a source of protein. We were traditionally farmers, agriculturalists.
Hi, Cookie.
And our entire cultural and spiritual identities
We're having education class today.
That place.
An impromptu education class.
When we were moved to Oklahoma, we were moved to a really different geography. We sowed the seeds in our hems of our skirts, and we carry those seeds on the Trail of Tears to
Isn't that so
new
cool?
home, Oklahoma. And
So smart.
we planted those
Come from
seeds
smart people.
in basically our new homelands. And we did our best to translate that many, many thousands of years of generational knowledge into this new environment.
Part of the reason why Native communities today are statistically some of the unhealthiest in the country is because of those articles of subsistence.
There we go. The commodities. Look at that. Let's see. Okay, mine were a little bit different. I think this is probably when it first came out, right? Because I think we talked about that before, like powdered eggs and the obviously that's where fried bread or Indian tacos came from, is because that's what they gave us. I'm somewhere between okie good, I think. Trouble sleeping this week, but nothing too bad other than that. Well, good. That's how I feel today. Not to take away from how you're feeling. However, your girl today is just, we out here. And that's why I was playing video games. I actually played an indigenous game. And And excuse me. And so my brain just couldn't handle everything. I was just zoning out. And so now we are co-working / learning. So listen, I am out here trying to absorb all of the knowledge. I do take breaks. Like tonight is break time for me to just kick back and have fun. Hopefully, I don't like hurt myself. I'm gonna go play some games, like physical games, tonight. So hopefully it's fine. And then tomorrow I get to be with my family. We're gonna we have a family event tomorrow, so I get to go back to back home and like hang out with my aunties, uncles, and my mom and all that stuff. So get to be in community, and I'm really excited about that. So today I was like, why not throw on some more documentary educational videos and do some emails and stuff like that. So haha, no worries, Andrew. You talk about your life doesn't take away from mine. If it does, that's no, I get it sometimes. Sometimes people like overpower the conversation, and I try not to do that. Like I'm trying not to do that. So I don't want to relate what you're going through to me. So
for food commodities. The Commodity Foods Program was started in the 1970s and is the legacy of the long-time destruction of
that peanut butter and pork. I do remember
Commodity
those.
Foods, or what's known as commods in Indian country, come from the
thanks,
Food Distribution Program on Indian reservations, which is part of the USDA program. Commods always come packaged in cans, frozen solid, or in the case of cheese, wrapped in a gold-colored block.
Oh my god, the cheese.
This cheese is legendary in Indian country. However, cheese or any dairy was never part of the indigenous diet pre-colonization. In fact, 80% of Native Americans are lactose intolerant.
I am.
Like that stops us. This is a complex
I eat ice
issue,
cream and I regret it.
Let's talk about nutrition. Before colonization, we did not need Weight Watchers or the paleo diet or whatever dieting fad is trending right now. Our ancestors would walk or hike for miles.
Yeah, we were the
hunting and
healthiest
foraging for
people
food
on the
supplies.
planet.
The land was bountiful and provided our ancestors with a perfect diet that nourished our bodies.
That's why I
and
hate
kept us
diets.
healthy. We never had to consume unhealthy processed commodities because that's just not how our relationship with our food systems worked. Native Americans are 50% more likely to be obese
That
than
cheese
white
with all,
Americans. This is largely because fresh food is hard
so
to
bad.
find on or near reservations, and even more expensive if you do manage to find it. For instance, chicken costs an average of 71% more when purchased on a reservation, and bread is 85% higher than off a reservation. There are also systemic issues that block our full return to the native diet. Currently, many Native Americans who live on reservations live in food deserts. A food desert, similar to a food apartheid we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, is an area where it is difficult to buy affordable, fresh, healthy food. Let me paint you a picture. Literally. This is a map showing all the food deserts in the United States. And this is a map of all the federal reservation lands. Notice anything? Just take a minute. Yeah. Maybe the very significant overlap? Yeah, okay, you got it. Cool. The food deserts that engulf Native communities to this day mean that the newer generations continue to struggle with food scarcity. In fact, Native Americans experience significantly higher levels of food scarcity among all populations in the country. Last question, Dr. Jernigan. Can you give us some hope for the future?
We have to understand that land is part of public health, that we as Indigenous people conceptualize ourselves as part of that land. We are here to reclaim our health in our traditions, in our ways, not through the Western lens, but through our own practices. And what was considered niche or marginal or just folk medicine when I was in school for public health and medicine is now shown to be pragmatic, indigenous, traditional knowledge and science. And it is valid and it's important.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us, Dr. Jernigan. So I'm sure we're all getting hungry, but here's the good news. More and more Indigenous people are reconnecting with the original food sources and creating cookbooks and restaurants for us to devour. But remember, Native Americans' diet is not a commodity or a fad. It is our way of life. Because we believe that the health of our people is connected with the health of the earth. Thanks for watching. For more, you can check out the new season of Native American Now on the PBS.
I know, I'm hungry too.
Check out the link in the description to learn more.
And he's talking about food, and I'm like, man, I want some food now. Imagine eating some bison burgers. I don't know if you've ever had bison burgers, but oh my God, they're so good. I don't like to eat bread on burgers. I guess they're called like California burgers. When you just like have salad, like you use the salad like a bun. I usually eat burgers like that. I know, I may be, the oddball. But however, the carbs, listen, when you get my age out here, they stick to them thighs, and I'm just like, I'm trying to be cautious, gotta make sure I take care of my health. Gotta be around to see everything just be dismantled. No, I'm just kidding. You just got back from the gym? Hell yeah. Good job. That's more than me. I do think I will take a walk here in after stream. So, and then I said that I was doing physical activity later on. Actually, I may not walk then. That counts, right? Like if I don't walk and I go do physical activity later, that counts. That's valid. You want some some enchiladas? I was about to say it has one word, but ooh, what kind of enchiladas though? I've had yerba mate ×2. What is yerba mate? Okay, now I'm Googling this. You don't have the energy to make them? That's how I feel about tamales sometimes. I sometimes crave tamales, but obviously that's a big process. And so I like to buy some of those bag tamales. And some of them are really good. You have to find which ones are really good. Okay, I'm looking up yerba mate. Okay, this is is it like a fruit drink? Like you put it, is it like a tea or a cafe? It says a caffeinated beverage. I want to drink more like healthy stuff, like kakaya. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's like a chocolate drink, like the actual great chocolate. I went to yoga. I think I mentioned it a while back. I went to yoga. They gave us kakaya, this very spiritual yoga session. I just make cheese enchiladas, then smother them in stir-fried peppers and onions. Oh my God, that sounds so good. But the cheese, oh, my stomach. I bet it's so good. It's an herbal tea. Okay. That's what I see. Ooh. It looks good. If it's the same thing that I'm reading, what it has and stuff. That sounds good. It's a kind of a natural energy drink. See, that's what I want to lean towards. Although coffee, it's not it's dirt water in a way, so it's not super, super bad. But I'd rather have tea and stuff. Okay, yeah, I don't like those energy drinks. I don't really drink Red Bulls or Monsters. It's been forever since I've drank that stuff. I try not to drink that. I eat cookies, and I feel like that counters that. I do light amounts of white cheese, and it still gets to me sometimes. Oh man, ouch. The burpee or acidy energy, that Monster. Yeah, those are heavy. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one, authentically indigenous look like. Let's see if I look authentically indigenous.
Hey, I'm Cheyenne Barefoot.
Hang on, chat. We're gonna find out if I look authentically indigenous, okay? Maybe I'm gonna put a poll. Can I put a poll? You're gonna get points if we get this right. Let's see. Does streamer look indigenous? Yes. No. Pretending. Okay. We'll do this for, I think this video is 10 minutes. There we go.
member of the Chiricahua
Wait.
Apache Nation, and your host of Sovereign Innovations. There are 574 federally recognized tribes within the United States,
but what else?
and hundreds more the United States chooses not to recognize. And no two look or dress the same. For example, look at the difference in clothing between Ohlone women of the California Bay Area and the traditional dress for southwestern Navajo or Denali.
Oh, I said it, Ohlone, right?
Now contrast that with the protective clothing of the Inuit people. As you can see, some materials like feathers, beads, and hides are used intertribally, but not always in the same way, making the clothing design for each tribal nation uniquely different.
Well, it's because of where you live at. That's going to make sense. Like, based on where you live is going to determine what clothes you wear.
So if there's all this rich, real-life representation, why are we so often reduced to the same image? Well, it's kind of got to do with these guys right here. George Catlin, Edward S. Curtis, and William Buffalo Bill Cody.
Oh,
long story short,
Buffalo
Catlin
Bill
was a painter obsessed with capturing this authentic image of Native American people he visited across the United States during the 1830s. His Indian Gallery collection showcases over 500 pieces that center his Eurocentric lens for understanding us. Between 1900 and 1930, Edward S. Curtis was also obsessed with capturing this authentic image of indigenous peoples before they all vanished. He photographed more than 70 tribes across the US, but his images grossly romanticized us. He staged scenes and mismatched cultural items between tribes to fit the story he wanted to make. Buffalo Bill's Wild West shows are another inaccurate depiction of indigenous people. He showcased us as violent instigators when really, we were the ones undergoing genocide. So it's thanks in part to these guys that these one-dimensional and misleading images of indigenous people have proliferated so widely. The content was assumed to be factual rather than what it is. A performance, or only half of the story. To date, they've informed millions of people about what we are and what we should look like. And many non-Indigenous people today are still obsessed with consuming the authentic Indigenous cultures they've been fascinated by for centuries, no matter how fabricated it is. Which brings us back to fashion. Perhaps nobody is better at fabricating Indigenous cultures than clothing brands. Companies frequently appropriate
or celebrities,
iconography, hairstyles, motifs, prints, and designs. You name it, and they've stolen it to reproduce something that's mid at best. From people wearing Plains Tribes war bonnets at music festivals, to that George Lucas guy taking inspiration from the Hopi women's squash blossom hairstyle for Princess Leia's space buns, to the popular Minnetonka moccasins those hipsters wear, and of course, Halloween costumes for every person who wants to be us but doesn't want to put in the effort to understand us. Oftentimes, indigenous communities.
Good luck, Trickster. Thank you for hanging out today.
Being the key inspiration for
I hope you have fun. I hope it's all like good things.
Leader and fashion designer who's had his work featured at the Santa Fe Indian Market and recently on the cover of British Vogue, shared with me his experience of non-native companies attempting to replicate his work.
Yeah, it's disheartening because like now what I've noticed was, well, this is actually something that happened just recently. A company out in India reached out to me and was trying to ask me permission to use my beadwork designs so they could do replicas of it using beadwork because they know they're teaching themselves how to bead and they're going to try to sell it for like, you know, cheap.
Elias isn't the only one with an opinion on the cultural appropriation of indigenous items. Joey Montoya, a member of the Lipan Apache Nation and CEO and founder of indigenous clothing brand Urban Native Era, shared his perspective on the decades.
Oh my god, that scares me
and
every time I try to open something. I'm hoping that it doesn't show on the screen.
Who they are, they tend to look at other things that that are connected, you know,
okay,
that have
that didn't
this
show.
Meaning and purpose to it, and meaning and purpose that's rooted in like thousands of years of like learning of ceremonies and all these things that are, they're not just like, if we didn't just create this 500 years ago like the US was created, you know, we've been developing our culture and who we are as indigenous people for so many years, so it's deeply rooted in the world.
At a glance, you might think it's humorous or not a big deal, but it's actually more harmful than you might think. A lot of the elements in indigenous clothing, like regalia and ceremonial dress, holds significant value and purpose. And when brands exploit that for the purpose of trendy fashion and capitalism, it can be incredibly offensive and inappropriate because they're disregarding that value and also ignoring some of the historical trauma we've undergone. But we haven't taken this nonsense sitting down. Oh no. Indigenous communities have been outspoken against cultural appropriation for at least the past 8 decades. When the National Congress of American Indians created a campaign to eliminate negative stereotyping of indigenous peoples in the media in the 1940s. Eventually, they'd narrow their scope to specifically discuss sports mascots and team names. Their overarching argument, simply put, is that the racist names and co-opting of iconography was incredibly offensive and hinged on untrue assumptions about indigenous peoples. But they weren't the only ones in our communities who were trying to do something about the ways people were perceiving us. Indigenous fashion designers are pushing back against the myth of the monolithic Indian with their innovative styles that often blend traditional indigenous designs with a reinvented modern twist.
You know, if our ancestors were here currently, what would they be designing? What resources would they be using to really create, what they want to wear and what they see as of importance, and what also will change too, because I believe, our ancestors adapted to the environments and used those resources, and they would have done the same thing if they were placed in this time or in the future. They would have done that same thing of just really observing the world again and really figuring out what we should be wearing, what needs to change and shift.
Of course, the design process varies from person to person. Ty Lodgepole, a Navajo fashion designer of Homeland and member of Indigenous Enterprise, is creating designs that reference his traditional upbringing.
A lot of people's mood boards are our people, which is kind of crazy. So it's like, why not do the same, but in a respectful, tasteful way? What you would see, old pictures of, our, ancestors, the Navajos, and also, let's say, Apaches. That's really like a cut off, almost capri jort. And in my mind, that's it's super dope to see, because jorts are like a popping thing right now, is making its little comeback, and that kind of resonates to everybody. But little do they know, like, once you peel back the layers of it just looking cool, there's a reference point, there's a story behind it.
If we stayed repeating the same designs that are like in collections and museums and stuff, we're basically just being held back in the past.
Remixing and adapting is such a huge part of Indigenous fashion in order to really tap into the full range of expression. And the reclamation process looks and means something different to each designer. Indigenous fashion can function as a subtle or
Yo, our Indigenous fashion. Actually, hey, that's Pishon.
Indigenous designers,
I know her.
Folks in our communities a new way to represent themselves and reject decades of misleading tropes. But apparently we're not the only ones jazzed by these bold forms of representation and reclamation. Over the past several years, Native folks have found ourselves occupying spaces we've historically been left out of. You can now see the work of Indigenous designers featured on runways in New York and Paris. You can spot Indigenous models and actors like Quanah Chasing Horse and Lily Gladstone on the cover of magazines and on TV screens.
I didn't.
If you haven't seen Indigenous fashion, you
you
gotta check that out because it is amazing.
So yeah, they said, okay, we're gonna use this for a photo shoot with Lily Gladstone, and that was all. And then I found out the day they posted it on the British Vogue Instagram. I was like, oh.
When I create something, I'm hoping there's a Native kid or just somebody out there watching, and in their minds are like, oh, I'm gonna go crazy with that. I'm gonna do something better than that.
Saw like three or four people wearing our hat. So it's nice to know that we have people in these spaces that support what we're doing and also support the bigger vision.
It's taken decades of individual and collective action to get to where we are now. And although Indigenous representation has come such a long way, many Indigenous folks feel the work isn't over. Right now, we're experiencing an incredible resurgence of Indigenous image. And it's not one size fits all. As a reconnecting urban Native, all of these options make me feel seen. and they give me choices so I don't feel pressured to fit in with dominant Western culture. I can be outspoken with my clothing expression and unapologetically me.
That's how I feel about my ribbon skirts.
Now I want to hear from you. How are your choices centering you while also honoring your traditions? See ya in the comments. Join us this season, and I promise that I'll give you a new representation of indigeneity in the process. Thanks for tuning in. This is Shy Barefoot, signing off.
Oh, this one looks cool. Okay, let's see. What would... Oh, no one... Okay, well. It's okay. Actually, I'm glad I figured out how to make polls, because for a while, not gonna lie, I didn't know how to do it. So, I mean, like, I forgot how to do it. Let me clarify. Okay, Discord, why are you being weird?
In the spring of 2024, student protesters made headlines as pro-Palestine activists started encampments on over 130 campuses across the U.S. These actions led to counter-protests, arrests, and even canceled graduation ceremonies at some schools. But 2024 wasn't the first time campuses became such a headline-grabbing flashpoint for activism. For decades, student activists have taken to the quads to protest things like segregation in the 60s, the Vietnam War in the late 60s and into the 70s, South African apartheid in the 80s, and racism and police violence in the 2010s and 20s. But what is it about campuses that make them such powerful incubators for activism? And what can that teach us about how to be civically engaged long after graduation? I'm KJ Kearney, and this is Citizen Better.
This is about insightful instructions from the past. And so very often, a number of young people that I work with who are self-professed activists are not even fully aware that the tradition in which they're working has already been shaped and mapped out. So I do believe that some of the current trends we see is from a playbook, a historic playbook.
Right. Dr. Bobby Donaldson is a historian at the University of South Carolina. He's working to document the role South Carolinians played in the civil rights movement of the 1960s, including how student protests started to turn the tide on segregation here in Columbia. He pointed out to me that college campuses have long exposed students to new ideas and new communities that can shake up the students' worldviews.
There will be no civil rights movement in this country without the critical role of historically black colleges, universities, and black high schools. I think part of what the role of historically black colleges have always been and continue to be is to build a new core of leadership. And when you're talking about business leaders, entertainment leaders, but also leaders in the struggle for civil rights and social justice.
Many students are living on their own for the first time and being exposed to new ideas, everywhere from the lecture hall to the late night chats in the dorms. So it's no surprise that as they incorporate new ideals into their worldview, they may start to imagine new ways they want to relate to that world. Listen, I understand that college is not for everyone, but I'm going to speak from my own experience. Going to college completely changed the way I think, and it helped me become a better person. Why? Because I was interacting with people from other countries, from other states, from other cities, learning how they do things and incorporating that into my life. I can imagine that as a college student today, especially with social media being as active a part of their life as it is, they are also learning how to interact with other people and using that information to make a better campus and hopefully a better world. Dr. Joshua Cooper is a math professor at the University of South Carolina who participated in last fall's pro-Palestine protests as a member of Jewish Voices for Peace. He said that protest was another moment of cultural exchange on campus.
We've had Palestinian Cultural Night, we had a Palestinian Film Festival. So you've learned that your little world is not the only one.
Right.
There's a lot of possibilities, and the more you know about the way that people live their lives, the more opportunities there are for building coalitions and for imagining a better world.
Dr. Cooper found that something as simple as celebrating a Jewish holiday at a pro-Palestinian protest could start to introduce students to a more nuanced view about conflict that their previous education may not have even covered. But he also pointed out to me that students are also at a unique place in their lives that allows them to consider all that new information differently than other adults might.
students
this
are
whole
young
co-working
and
and
they don't have
learning,
employment yet, and so they're
it's
not
given
so
me
worried about
time to like clean up my
consequences
emails.
for showing up for some event or whatever. So they're able to do so in a way that older folks that have a house and a mortgage and a job are maybe less likely to do.
In recent years, young people have shaken up the status quo, calling for an end to gun violence during the 2018 March for Our Lives, or demanding action on climate change through the globally reaching School Strike for Climate. In doing so, they took a page from student activists of the past.
The young men and the women who are on those college campuses, they're going against tradition, they're going against law, they're going against the fears and anxieties of their parents, and they're going against the clear instruction of college leadership.
So now students have a bunch of new ideas that they want to make happen in the world, and the freedom and audacity to pursue them. How does that passion turn into protests? Back in the 1960s, students created formal organizations to guide their efforts, from the South Carolina Student Movement Association to the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
And what's important about the Southern Negro Youth Congress is as they're meeting, they're also training. They're also having workshops. And the workshops are about police brutality. The workshops are about registering to vote. The workshops are about communications. The workshops are about history. So while they're training about the Southern Negro Youth Congress, they're studying all of these tools, which are needed to do what? To create activists. And part of what's important is many of these young people who are sitting in did not just show up. They're being trained, they're being shaped, they're being mentored.
In 1961, civil rights icon Ella Baker spoke at one campus training session on the role of the student in achieving human rights. And it was sessions like these that laid the groundwork for sit-in campaigns the students were launching. Today, that ground game may look more like a group chat. Dr. Cooper told me that many student groups who organize around a wide variety of social issues communicate with each other to help spread the word about different events.
By oneself, it's just not possible to have a substantive effect. So yeah, getting together with like-minded people and trying to work on problems, solve problems together, have an effect, brainstorm, that's really where it's at. There's lots of other opportunities to contribute and to feel the community are being supportive and working together to solve problems and to have an effect.
But student activists on the University of South Carolina campus have another secret ingredient. Right down the street from campus is the South Carolina State House. If students want to speak truth to power, they can do that in a less than 10-minute walk. And students did just that in 1961, when activists from colleges and high schools across the city marched to the State House to protest segregation. When police broke up the protest and arrested nearly 200 students, they fought back in court. They eventually won the 1963 Supreme Court case, Edwards versus South Carolina, which affirmed their right to peacefully protest. And students still use that right today, gathering regularly to call for anything from the removal of the Confederate flag that flew over the state capitol until 2015, or walking out of school alongside their teachers to protest for more resources for schools and higher teacher pay. It's clear that college campuses create a fertile ground for students to become civically engaged. But as these big media moments come and go, and waves of activists graduate and move on to the next phase of their lives, how can they stay civically engaged for the long haul? Dr. Donaldson says we should look to civil rights organizers who built their movements with longevity in mind.
It's really important too to know what the network is and to know that you're not in this struggle alone. It is making sure that those who come thereafter are well informed about what happened in the past and how do you utilize what happened in the past to move forward.
And Dr. Cooper, who still shows up at protests at the State House grounds every week, agrees that building with others gets you a lot further than going at it alone.
I think coalition building is really key in having an effect, and also, retaining that momentum long term, right? Being able to do things today and a year from now. If you've got lots of organizations that are working together on an issue, then you can show up for each other's events, you can help each other to support whatever actions and activities are happening.
We've had an extraordinary journey together, from being in Charleston, now at the State House, from going to sneaker shops, restaurants, art galleries, we've learned that you can build community anywhere, and you can use that community to be a force of positive good in your community. I'm KJ Kearney, and this is Citizen Better.
Okay, let's see what else. Ooh, the surprising history of pride in the South. Or do we listen to what is Indigenous Kitchen? Let's see. Maybe we save that for Pride Month. This one, because it is Women's History Month. There's one that's called How Native Women Are Revolutionizing Film Narratives.
Native people aren't a monolith. Representation is all about humanity and is all about showcasing human beings as they are.
Is it just me, or has the representation of Native women in media made a ton of strides over the past few years? I mean, you have films and shows like Prey, Reservation Dogs, Spirit
Hi,
Ranger,
your Mexican child.
Falls,
Does that mean you're my
Dark
Mexican
Winds,
child?
and Echo.
I mean, are you?
I think we're finally starting
We're
to see
learning
the film and entertainment.
So this, right now, I decided to grab something about women, because it is Women's History Month. We still have a few days left of Women's History Month. So we're going to learn how Native women are revolutionizing film narratives. So, but welcome in. Welcome. We have an ad in 45 seconds. So, I really don't want to start the show with an ad. So, I have been cleaning out my email, and it is so nice. It can be so, like, I try to keep up with it as I get, like, junk email. I try to, like, go through and delete it. But sometimes, like, like, I'll open it and then I'll forget about it. So it's really nice that I can sit here and go through and clean it up. And I also need to go back and email people. Okay, well, so that happened already. I don't need that email anymore. So this is nice to kind of just sit for a second and, like, go through and clean up my emails. Only if you'll accept me as your child. And I have a friend that took me on a tour of life in the res. Oh, like, what specific res? Any email cleaners in chat or nah? Wait, okay, hang on. Okay, that ad is done. So I said, yes, I'll adopt you. I can adopt you. I will adopt chatters. I will be your new Twitch mommy. What res was it? Any email cleaners in chat or nah? Are you cleaning your emails, Cookie? Okay.
Industry veer away from those stereotypical Western representations we've usually been saddled with. No pun intended. And what's even more exciting is the representation behind the camera by Native women writing, directing, and producing. Hi, I'm Cheyenne Barefoot, a Native woman in media and your host of Sovereign Innovations. And in this episode, we're celebrating the power, the stories, and the brilliance of Native women in film.
The name of the tribe escapes me, but Acoma, New Mexico. Okay.
If you didn't know,
that's cool though.
Many indigenous societies are considered
There's a few.
Because of course women were calling the shots. For example, in Lakota culture, the ancestry is traced through the mother's lineage.
Yep.
In the story of the white buffalo calf woman, she was the one who brought Lakota's spirituality and the spiritual pipe. Today, indigenous women are using these traditions and knowledge systems to create art that pushes boundaries and rewrites the dominant narratives. I spoke with the writers of the film Fancy Dance to break down the complexity of
Fancy
Indigenous women
Dance
on the screen.
That one is on Apple, I believe. Apple TV. I mean, if you're an, iPhone user and got the Apple stuff, I don't know. I'm a Google Pixel person, so I'm over here team Android. But if you do have Apple TV, definitely check out Fancy Dance. And then if you have Netflix, I think Resball is a new one that came out recently. Oh my God, that one made me cry so bad. Like, I don't know if anyone in chat has seen Resball, but that one was so sad. I do think you need to prepare yourself, especially if you've lost someone because of kind of unalive and stuff. Definitely caution yourself as you watch that movie. But it's really deep and really good though. I totally recommend it.
Fancy Dance tells the story of a Seneca Cayuga woman named Jax, whose sister has been missing for 2 weeks, and she's left as the unlikely caretaker to her 13-year-old niece, Roki. The two of them set out on a road trip to try and solve the woman's disappearance.
This is really a story about love and community and relationships and how we as Indigenous folks lean on each other in our relationships with each other to kind of withstand oppressive systems pushing down upon us.
This film explores Indigenous forms of motherhood and the responsibility that comes from the value systems in Indigenous communities to care for our relatives. Indigenous representation in films wasn't always this thoughtful and complex, though. One of the earliest depictions was a short by the Edison Company showing Native children walking in and out of the school. As the years go by, you get fabricated representations like Nanook of the North and natives wreaking havoc on the lives of settlers in the many Wild West films and TV shows. Now,
is this whenever like they weren't even native? The book that I'm reading right now is The Inconvenient Indian, and it was talking about I believe it's that book that mentions how they were like in our movies, they weren't even native people. So I wonder if this is like where it starts, that it wasn't even native people that were playing these parts.
A lot of the actors portraying natives in those particular genres weren't native.
Okay.
100 years after our first film with the Edison Company, Indigenous creatives were
finally... Oh, there we go. Hey, Victor. There's Trickster's not here, but...
Take back the narrative. They were going to create stories about their upbringing on reservations or their experiences living in the city. And more recently, Native women behind the scenes
Sorry about your dad.
adamantly kicking butt to change the narrative, with the likes of showrunner of Rutherford Falls, Sierra Teller Ornelas.
That's one thing I didn't watch is Rutherford Falls.
Molly of Denali,
Princess Dajrai Johnson.
Of course, part of that work for Native women involves bearing the burden of constantly educating and correcting ignorance.
You have to almost have like a PhD in Indigenous studies.
See, this is why I'm constantly educating. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, like, I do take on the role of trying to, at capacity, I try to educate myself more on the vast majority of like what we have gone through as a collective, so that way I can discuss these topics. But yeah, at least in like my field, like academia, I feel the same way. I'm sure like media, I can't imagine what they have to go through.
Anytime you make an Indigenous film, not because it's required to make the film, but because the questions that come after you've made the film. What kind of research did you do for this? How long did it take you to research? And we were like, we just kind of sat there because we were like, this is our lives. Like there was almost zero research to do.
This is why the example set by films like Fancy Dance is so important. It gives Native women sovereignty over their stories that they already know. It challenges the lack of representations of Native women on screen and behind the screen. The film doesn't create a narrative that is meant to be educational of what it means to be Native. It operates on a basic knowledge of the Native audience already knowing. This film focuses on how interconnected Indigenous women kinship is to the community and on the relationality of humanity. It was made by and for Indigenous communities.
The very first kernel of this story came to be when I was doing a 3-year-long language immersion program up in Six Nations. I was studying Cayuga, and we were learning familial words. And we learned that the word for mother is knoha, and the word for your mother's sister is knoha-a. And the a is diminutive, so it means small mother or your other mother. And it just broke open this very beautiful construct of matrilineal connections, and how our communities raised our kids, and how your aunt was your other mother. And that was such a beautiful idea to me. And I don't have my own children, but my sister has 3 kids that I have very close relationships with. And I was really interested in exploring that kind of a relationship. And an Indigenous mother-daughter story can be an aunt and niece story, and how unique and beautiful and wonderful that is.
Language, kinship, and culture fundamentally shape Indigenous identities. But with previous representations in storytelling, this has rarely been explored. Isn't film about exploring all narratives? Not just narratives that portray Native peoples in one particular way? Cinema would be so much richer and more nuanced with narratives that explore that true humanity of people and all of their colors, not placing an entire community in a limited box of who they can be and what they can explore. Fancy Dance showcases the true nuance of what it means to be a good relative to your community, and most importantly, your family. But it doesn't shy away from having the main character doing bad things. She steals, but that doesn't take away her humanity. She's still worthy of being a part of the community and worthy of being loved. Just similar to any person that makes mistakes or does something bad.
The best work comes forward, and I'm interested in finding that truth and humanity in complicated Native women. And for me, that's exciting, and for me, that pushes against the tropes of not only the women that are being represented on screen, but myself as an active Native woman working in filmmaking, and what my process and what my craft says to the world. I think you want to get that right, and you want to be that representation that's multifaceted and that moves through the world with grace and is also owed a little latitude, you know?
When I was a little girl, I watched a lot of Westerns because my dad liked them, funny enough. Native people were always the savages. As a Native girl, I felt insecure. But at 10,
I feel like that
wish
with
I'd
video
known the
games
beauty
too.
Of Irene Bedard, the humor of Jana Schmieding, the wit of Paulina Alexis and Devery Jacobs, or the bravery of Lily Gladstone.
And this is for every little res kid, every little urban kid, every little Native kid out there who has a dream.
The media that's come out over the past decade, but especially the past 4 years, has given me so much joy. And I know this isn't the end. I know we're going to continue to get more complex and nuanced films about Indigenous peoples in theaters. And while Lily Gladstone may have lost, there have been some incredible strides in this campaign. And besides, it's going to take a lot more than that to discourage Native women. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, thanks so much for learning with me. Until next time.
Let's see. Maybe one more, and then we're going to call it. Let's see. Maybe something about more Indigenous women, since we're obviously, like I said, still in Women's History Month. Let's see. Okay, this one is... That's 12 minutes. I was trying to find one that's like not super long. Let's see. How long is this one? Wait. Oh, that's 11 minutes. Oh, it's West Studio. Oh, that's an hour. Oh God. That's an hour. Okay, this isn't like. This isn't This isn't, what am I trying to say, words. It kind of has Indigenous women in it. So, and it's about Indigenous people review Native American characters in film. So, let's watch this one. And it's like 8 minutes, so it's not bad.
Of the most unusual names here.
Wait, let me go back.
You're Sakakawea? You have the most unusual names here.
Oh my goodness. Hi, my name is Marianne Buggs. I am Native American. I'm a registered member of the Caddo tribe from Oklahoma, and I'm also Cheyenne and Arapaho.
My name's Silas Cleveland. I'm from Lander, Wyoming. I myself am Eastern Shoshone.
I am Calder Ness from Kennebec, South Dakota. I'm Bart Ness, Chris Dad. And I was raised on the Lord Rural Sioux Tribe Indian Reservation, so you're also raised.
I'm Brandy Lewis. I am enrolled member of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma.
And today we're going to be reviewing some Native American characters in film and TV.
Native American and Indigenous representation in film is quite often inaccurate, and the reason for that is that oftentimes the stories are being told by non-natives.
I grew up watching Westerns with my dad on TV. I'd say, why are we watching this movie again with these people who aren't really Indian? We called ourselves Indian those days. And he'd say, well, maybe someday we'll actually win. Because we were always the ones that got killed off or, worse things.
Our houses are fine.
You think that, only because you don't know any better.
And I don't think very many natives like hearing these kind of things.
There's so much we can teach you. We've improved the lives of savages all over the world.
Savages?
Not that you're a savage.
Just my people.
No. Listen, that's not what I meant. Let me explain.
Let go.
No, I'm not letting you leave.
That dress kills me. It's such a
oh God
Disneyland sort of take on the historical figure of Pocahontas.
Savage is just a word, a term for people who are uncivilized.
Like me.
Well, when I say uncivilized,
Native Americans, I'd say we are some of the most civilized people, have been for centuries.
What you mean is, not like you.
For many years, I resisted watching the movie Pocahontas just because I knew it was going to be a bad representation.
I really kind of stay away from these types. Like I never really had our kids watch them because they're not even close to the truth,
She's super hyper sexualized, but I liked when she's reacted to him calling her a savage, because I think that's what a lot of people think still to this day.
Pocahontas, in reality, historically, was a young girl. She was taken and forced to marry John Smith against her will, and it wasn't a beautiful love story.
She had a lot of trauma in her life that when I read the story a long time ago, I really related to, because I think a lot of our people are still to this day suffering from the trauma they experienced, whether it's this generation or past generations.
You're Sakakawea?
Oh God.
You're Sakakawea? Oh, Sacagawea. You're Sacagawea?
Even in North Dakota, they pronounce it 3 different ways.
He went
It is one of your stereotypes, having a Native American track someone.
You're amazing.
I think she's actually a great tracker too.
She was, yeah.
It's a really big deal when you see Native Americans in film, and Sacagawea being part of my ancestries and my tribe. That's a pretty big ordeal to me.
I was struck by her outfit because that's the next thing I look at is I try to figure out what tribe they are by looking at their dress, and it was very non-Native American.
Yeah, it's just a stereotypical portrayal of her with the braids.
I bet a lot of people haven't heard of Sacagawea before. And so at least it was educational from that viewpoint. I assume this is like a kid's movie.
Technically, you're a council meeting crasher.
Oh, Twilight.
Council leaders.
Oh, God.
Dad, Will's grandpa, and Sue Clearwater.
Clearwater.
Took over for Harry.
Good name.
The Quileutes have been a small
Did he say
tribe
Quileutes?
from the beginning.
I don't know if that's a tribe, but maybe it is. There's 570 plus tribes in the United States, so I don't know all of them.
Shapeshifters.
This is a great example. of
I don't even know all the
oral
ones in
tradition, which is a
Oklahoma,
very,
like,
very
off the top of my
important
head.
part of Native
There's
American
39
history.
here.
Stories being passed down for generations.
And now I see at the end, they're near water, and she's wearing, the older lady is wearing shell earrings. So that must be in the Pacific Northwest, I'm guessing. Actually, overall, I was really happy that there were so many Native American actors making money.
I think they did a good job, showing the modern Native Americans. They dress like everybody else, and not every Native has a crazy name or anything. They had the Seth Clearwater, I think it was, on there. Regular names, there are many traditional last names still, but not everybody's named like Pocahontas or something like that.
Are you a real Indian undercover?
Oh my God, this one.
Iroquois.
Iroquois? I've heard of them.
As if he hadn't heard of that, maybe he wouldn't really be Indian. Because I tell people what my tribe is, and Caddo isn't a well-known tribe, and they say, I've never heard of that, as if I made it up.
Can you be the peacemaker?
The music.
I'm a boy. My name's Omri.
Great Spirit can be a child.
To me, I don't think the Great Spirit would be a white child, especially.
How do you know English?
We know the English.
The English.
They suffer us to fight the French for them.
I know that's true. And I wonder.
Indian the cover was so weird. It was.
That was not at all what I expected it was going to be about, Indian in a cupboard.
I think a lot of people don't realize the accuracy of his comment that Native Americans were employed by the English to fight the French. That's really important for people to know the accurate part of history. What I've experienced is children being told what their parents think based on what they've seen in old Westerns. And I think this would give them an alternate view of much closer to the truth of my people.
That is really cool that it's like some magical cupboard, and then he can kind of learn about the tribe or like the past.
One day this ranch is going to be yours.
But I don't want this ranch.
What is going
Oh
on?
yes, this one. Oh God.
You are ungrateful, and you don't deserve this.
Well, you're an Indian giver.
I was promising someone something.
No.
Named after us.
I'm like confused because why is she blonde? Why did she not look one speck of Indian?
I can't remember
Yesterday
what's
I saw
that.
you try to milk a male buffalo. Whatever, Mom. It worked. I put it in the fridge.
I mean,
I watched that, but I can't remember.
It's actually kind of funny, but
Are having a
definitely playing into like
The
every
stereotypes.
stereotype that exists. So.
I would hope that the writers and the producers of this particular show would talk to the two Native American actors that they employed to do this.
I feel like it's meant to be joking about the stereotypes, actually. I guess I would want non-native people to know that, a lot of times the stereotypes that you see are so, overt, it's laughable.
I think that the majority of the clips that I saw had inaccuracies as far as portraying Native American people.
I'd love to see Hollywood giving more opportunities out there to different Native Americans.
I really just think it's important to have Native people telling Native stories.
And I think
True.
the more realistic and the more natives that they bring on to these sort of, there's so many interesting things with the Indian tribes. I think a lot of people would really enjoy to watch.
I mean, they're always fantasized about us. Like,
American tribe. You should research which ones are in your state.
I hope that you, the audience, don't get all of your ideas about Native American people from TV and movies, that you are encouraged to explore Native American accuracies. There's a lot of books out. There are powwows that happen in every major city.
And if you want to learn more about actual Native people, talk to them.
We are still here. We are still here, and you can talk to us if we allow you to, I guess. All right. Well, wait. Oh, that's 14 minutes. Oh, it's about missing and murdered Indigenous women, but I need to wrap it up. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think if we liked, I mean, like, I honestly, this was really chill. I enjoyed it because, it gave me the opportunity to co-work, but still just like have something playing. Of course, like people co-work and like have music and stuff, but it's kind of nice just to have like something playing in the background and like listening and stuff. Kind of like a podcast, I guess. And so kind of still providing that educational piece while I'm working on stuff on the back end that I need to work on. So if we like, if I continue to do this, well, maybe like I break up my streams where I play games like the first hour or two, and then I switch to co-working / to watching some of these videos. And maybe, you know, I can ask people just to submit videos that are really good about maybe their cultural or something like that, and we can just like watch them and make comments and stuff. I think I may vibe with that. I've always wanted to do I kind of think of Hassan when he does his like political rants, but his is obviously he looks at Twitter and then he goes into the rant of like maybe watching some speeches and stuff. I don't want to go that in depth. I don't want to like do that. I'd rather just like watch videos like that, and then we can talk about it and digest it and things like that. So I think I may look at doing content like that, like building it out, and we watch, have like a particular topic for each Friday stream. Yeah, I'm going to sit with that idea, and before we look at who to go to, let me double check my calendar. So next Friday, so this is, here we go. Are you ready? This is the calendar, or this is the next streams. So, Sunday, we have an event at, I said 4:30, right? I don't know why I have 3:30. Let me double check here because I don't want to tell y'all the wrong time. So let me double check. Actually, let me just throw it on. I think I still have it on the image on my computer. So, let me talk about that. Do I? Okay, I don't have the full image of the players, unfortunately. But I do have this image. So we're going to look at this one really quick. Okay, so let's talk about this one. So this event will be happening Sunday. So it is March 30th at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. I'm sorry that the pictures are very blurry. This is the Discord event banner, so you can't see the players. But we have Malay music, purple. Oh God, what is purple people? I'm looking also at Discord, so I'll me make sure I pronounce or tell you who's exactly playing. Actually, let me just save this one because this is a better image. Let's see. Okay, so woo, that is big. Don't chat, don't clip it. Okay, so here is our event for, whoops, I'm gonna put it over here. We're going to put it over here. So here's the event for Sunday. We have Malay music. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And then Purple People 04 and Morgan of the Leaf and Notable Nicole. We will have them on the Jeopardy like event. We'll do the Jeopardy event again of influential women throughout history and today, like modern times as well. So if you want to come and cheer on the event, please come back on March 30th at 4:30 p.m. CST. So we have that event. And then we have, I'm just going to use this one. We're going to pull this other event. And then we have this event. So March 31st, I will be on Velvet Van Helga's channel with Yos Eater, Raya, and Sage to discuss Native American foods. So please come out and support that event. It's actually going to be featured on the front page. So please come out and support us, the Indigenous Alliance members. It'd mean a lot to us. So come out, support us come out just for both of these events, please. So we have those two events, and then I probably won't. No, I don't think I'll stream on Tuesday. And then I'll be out Friday, so I won't stream on Friday on April 4th. My next stream will probably be sometime the following week. I might do, since I'll be out for a while, I'll probably try to do a stream the 9th or 10th or something like that. If not, the 11th I'll be back with Friday streams, and maybe that's where I build the content of what we're gonna do. Just stay tuned to socials. I'm gonna try to put together a monthly event flyer of my streams and try to stay true to it. So I've been trying to do that, and that way there's a somewhere you can reference where I'll be streaming. Or when I'll be streaming and where. I've been doing a lot of events this month. Oh my God, there was a lot of events. If you didn't see the event last night with London Bradshaw's channel, please go check that out. It was really cool to hang out with everybody last night, and we decorated cookies, had some fun, really cool experience. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. I think that's all of the announcements I had. Make sure you drink water and you take care of yourselves and all of that fun stuff. Cause it'd be rough out here. All right, so we're gonna go and, I didn't get to play Valorant, but, other people are playing Valorant. So let's go show some love to other people playing Valorant, because I do miss Valorant, and maybe we try to figure out if we can play that again next week. Or the following week, whatever that week is that I come back. Whoops, nope. All right, so here is the raid message. A simple little raid message. So if you could copy and paste that. And then as we go over and show Linda some love, I appreciate it. And thanks for hanging out. It was a really chill stream. Sorry I didn't play a lot of games. We just hung out and had a little good time. But yeah, I will see you Sunday. Be here. Okay. Bye.